Today's episode of the Live, Q, or Die podcast brought to you by Tactical Distributors. Impossible 15 gets you 15% off all this great stuff. A reversible coat, sweet ass t-shirt, and they just sent me these summer shorts. Oh my God. Can we get this out of here? We can. So, these shorts, they're breathable. The boys, they're cool as hell. They're short. They're not too short. They're not too long. They're not Daisy Dukes. They're not Dirty Dukes. They're just right. So, Impossible 15 gets you 15% off flip-flops, bags, shirts, pants, everything you need. They got those panties. What are those? The tactical brief things. They're so comfortable, and your junk comes right out when you need to take a pee. Holla.
You guys took underwear to Africa? A bunch of weirdos.
Like I said, it was our first time. Next time, things will be different.
Did you have any issue with the QD attachments?
Honestly, I didn't. So I've had issues with QD attachments before, and I've since Africa converted to a paracord type sling system for attachment because one, it's lightweight, and two, Kevin does it, so it's got to be awesome.
Well, you know, it's funny because for the last however long year, I've just been using the paracord. And when I just picked that sling up, I was like, holy fuck, those are heavy.
Yeah, it really does add weight. And
rattly.
I really, I didn't notice that was too rattly.
And they'll come loose.
That's it.
You would drop your rifle right off your back.
I didn't, but I didn't.
Terrible
so I've done it with other slings before.
Yeah.
With the QD, I've popped my rifle off. That one, it was really good for what it was.
All right.
But I thought of Kevin when I got it. I told the guy I was going to Africa, and he's like, yo, I'll get this to you overnight. And he overnighted it to me. So
Well, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I treasure it. I appreciate you giving it to me, and I'll probably take it back. But I probably will take those QDs off, put a little paracord on it for me.
yeah.
So unanimous sling. Put a
Sling,
sling on your
100%.
gun.
100%.
Yeah.
And be used to your sling. I like simple with everything.
Also,
Make sure your
too,
sling's not rusty.
it's not just what
Your sling is a little rusty. You broke your sling in Africa. I mean,
leather
granted,
doesn't rust.
well, the brass.
It was what broke on the sling. We'll get to my gun later, but it was an old sling and well worn, and yeah, it did break, and I had to make a field expedient knot in my sling for the rest of the trip, but it still functioned. But not only it's not just to carry it around too. Like I used it multiple times to wrap up to make a steady offhand shot.
Do you guys use your
or
sling to
something like
shoot?
that? Like
especially
practice.
tripods,
If you're going to go to Africa, don't just sit there at the bench and shoot the rifle.
Do that to make sure your rifle's zeroed.
Hey,
zero it for
I need
sure.
Q to look into the Ching sling and the capabilities of
excuse
the
me,
Ching
sir?
sling. Do you know this?
Watch your language.
Do you know this?
No, I don't know.
This is a family podcast.
No. It's a design for shooting where you slip the
cinch.
sling splits up at the top, so you can thread your arm through it and back your elbow into a hoop in the sling, and it really steadies for an offhand
So
shot like I've never
Dudes
seen.
did that with the
It's like a
slings
hasty
in World
sling.
War II. You could do that.
Yeah.
It's like a hasty sling,
Like-
but it's made out of nylon, right? That's what you're talking about with the loop on the back end, so you can get it under your elbow.
Yep.
And then you pinch back and then you pull it tight.
Yep. So
It's like a
if you're in an
Euro
area like where you're stalk hunting a lot,
Right.
If you're just using your sling to carry your rifle and then you're shooting prone every time.
You don't think about it, but if you go, I don't know. I'm sure, did we all make offhand shots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of us missed the animals.
Even off the stick.
even off
even
tripods
off the
is a big
sticks
deal.
too. Like I still would
Yeah,
grab a sling.
tripod or shooting
if you got to
stick.
push out past 253 off a tripod standing or sitting, that sling comes in big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For sure.
So
Yeah.
you can apply pressure directly
Even-
to the gun without it sliding around. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you go to Africa, you are gonna have to shoot off of shooting
Shredded
sticks.
sticks.
Yeah, or offhand.
Bipod,
if you wanna
rock,
be fast.
tree.
I mean, because to me, you guys know I'm all about like having that gun in my lap, folded stock, be quick, because
And it worked out for you.
Sometimes the only time, I'm the only one that shot a bush buck and a jackal. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you did a few drive-bys.
Here's what I will say though. Like I think it's getting a good idea of how you want to hunt. So like when Danny and I were talking about this trip, it's like we want to hunt hard. Like we want to like hike mountains and run around. I didn't really think about like the shooting style. So I was thinking everything's gonna be off a tripod. So I was spending probably
you
20.
can do that, but
Right. But that if you want to really,
it's going to take you a lot longer. You might not get the animal as you want.
and if you don't want to hunt next to a truck, right, that's going to be part of the experience too, right? If you're not right next to the truck, you're going to have to do some offhand shots. You're going to have to get creative, shoot off a tree maybe. Mm-hmm. And so getting an idea of how you want to hunt is really important in how you prepare for the hunt.
Well, I think just being prepared for everything, shooting extreme angle, shooting like every uncomfortable position you can imagine.
Long range too.
Easy day there.
Well, it's different
Griffin Howe,
because
you
it's
guys
not
screwed up.
like we talked about like the Africa hunt, the safari hunt. You're hunting 6 different animals in different terrain, different elevations.
Yeah.
You're getting
Because we were in
on
the
one
jungle,
hunt,
then we were kind of in
on
a
one
desert
hunt. You're getting a
environment.
ton of shot scenarios on one hunt.
Unless
So,
you're Kevin, it's 23 different species,
yeah.
But for the most of us were 6, 7.
Were you the only one with a
10.
fix?
My mom raised a killer.
No, he wasn't. He
No,
wasn't fixed.
there were. You guys both had fixes with you.
He also brought his dad's gun.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna get to. Okay,
Well, I'm
spoiler alert. I'm in
Jeez.
charge. I didn't come to do your podcast.
You need a gavel.
My podcast is really lame. It's just me.
Oh, you actually do one.
I do one, but that's not what I was referring to.
Oh boy!
When I talk to myself and record myself.
Please send us all the link for this.
All right, but yeah, so there were several, but I was the only one with the 16-inch barrel. They had longer barrels, so I could fold the stock and have it in my lap in the front seat. And so when it was like, "Shut the fucking barrel down," I could be like, "Bam!"
Is that it right there?
Yeah. So I had this in 6.5. So this exact setup, except I had a little offset red dot on it, and then I had the 308 with a 16-inch barrel.
Yep.
And I
And
shot
the
stuff
Swaro
with
1 to 6, right?
1 to 8.
1 to 8. Yeah.
Z8.
Z8I, sir.
Yeah. And I hunted with the fix a lot on that trip,
Yeah,
swapping between the 6.5 and the
big
308
water buck,
because
yeah.
you and I hunted together the whole time.
Yeah, and you know too is like Mike's gun is fucking incredible. This Griffin Howe gun, 300 Win Mag, so that's a great cartridge. But the thing is, you're riding around the Land Cruiser, and on days where it's 95 degrees, you don't want to be sitting in the back. So it's a dual cab, sitting in the back, or in the Hilux, which is even a little smaller.
Yeah.
And you got a fixed stock and a 20-inch barrel, and you're just not going to make a quick shot if you got that in the vehicle. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
you're not
hard.
getting out real fast and making that shot. No.
Yeah, was it like I saw you post? I want to say like day one you shot something with that, and I was like, that is a gorgeous rifle.
Yeah, it's an Alamo Bull.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we were out and about on that one, and that tracker is crazy. He spotted that animal at 1,300 yards with his eyes.
They're unbelievable.
Isn't it
Unbelievable.
amazing?
Ridiculous.
No glasses. It's amazing.
No.
They don't even really know how to use
Yeah.
binos most of the
Right.
time. But yeah, you're right. It's like 1,000 yards. They just sit there. They're born there, grew
Right.
up there. That's what they've always done since they're like 12 years old. And they're just looking out. And yeah, you're right. 1,000 yards, they'll see something like, what? Even with the binos, I'm like, I don't know. I can't see what you're talking about.
Sometimes they're casual about it. He's like, yeah, he's right there.
That's the best sound
Right
on,
where?
on the roof of the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that, and you're like, everybody's like,
That's right.
What'd you see?
So
1,000 yards
guys,
out.
so the tracker normally ride in the back on a high seat, and then he's got vision. He's got like oversight. He can see more. You're in the truck, and I've been different ways. Like I've been on safaris where they have you. You're in the back of the truck too. In case you got to make a quick shot or something. But so when he's back there, if he spots something you can't see from the cab, knocking on. Oh, there's something.
Your heart already.
They're not knocking on anything for something small. It is like if they knock
know what
on the
you're
roof of
looking
the
for.
truck, it's something you should shoot. So you're right. That's like the exciting time where the
Yep.
adrenaline just instantly kicks in.
Especially if you've been cruising around for an hour and you haven't heard, and you're
Or
just
6.
it's hot and then you hear, you're like,
Yeah.
did he mean to do that or did he just fall asleep?
It's either, I will tell you, it's either two things. It's either there's an animal out there, or it's because I've stuck my hand out the window and I'm going, I need a beer. Like, get me a beer out of the back. Beer me a
That
beer.
was great. Well, our trip too, I thought it was interesting because I'd been before, and you can go to places, and I believe in South Africa or Southern Africa, we'll say, so some of the different countries where it is just target rich, and it's an environment where you can see a mile and there's animals everywhere. And then there are places like where we went in the mountains, kind of in the jungle. So when you guys came over and you guys hadn't been before, that's where we went first. And you don't see as many animals until you're cruising around. It is more difficult hunting.
Oh, yeah.
You see less animals because it was very thick and, like a jungle, let's say. And in the mountains, you just don't have great visibility. And so a lot
of
times
rain, a lot of growth.
Yeah, and encounters would be quick. And so it was more difficult hunting. So I was so glad that for you guys, when we all went, we started there for a few days.
100%.
And then we go to the Eastern Cape, where on that property, where they have like 450,000 acres there.
480,000 acres.
Yeah, and so huge mountains, open areas, and there were some thicker areas. So all kinds of hunting there, but every day we would see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of animals.
Sometimes, a mile and a half off.
Yeah. So it wasn't always like if you wanted to shoot. I mean, there's some animals, and the damn blessed bucks run everything off. But I mean, there's some animals that they stay out in the plains, and unless you do a spot and stalk and you go up some mountains and stuff like that, you're not going to get you get 500 yards from them, and they run 500 yards. In a herd, and then you try to get up on them, and they're just watching you the whole time because there might be 50 of them in a herd. So if you can't shoot far, then you're going to be climbing some mountains and sneaking up and doing
100%.
some stuff.
Yeah, you'd be lost without the tracker's eyes and your PH's eyes, because coming from especially southeast Florida, just southeast United States hunting for
Home
whitetails.
of the giant whitetail in Florida,
exactly,
right?
Huge ones.
They're
monsters.
big.
So
They're bigger than dogs.
we're not even used to we typically don't even use binos when we're hunting because it's thick.
You're going to see 100 yards.
Thick woods,
maybe.
100 yards. Like, you're going to see them with your naked eye. You throw up the scope and use that, So glassing for us, it really wasn't a thing to begin with. And then when you
true.
get out there
Good point.
and they're telling you to look for an animal that you've never seen before. You might have just learned its name the day before, and then you're like, yeah, that sounds like something cool to hunt. So you don't even know how big it is. You don't know how big it's going to look at 500 yards.
The
at 1,000
female
yards.
and the males both have horns and
That
look
too.
alike. And so then you got to
100%.
look for balls. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is impossible.
So not even knowing what you're looking for, and then trying to find that on a mountainside 1,000 yards away, it's near impossible. And then once you start realizing what you're looking for, then you start picking it apart. And then, I remember at one point we were glassing, and just in one frame, I just stayed still, and there was 8 different species of animals in one frame at 1,000 yards. We got we got giraffe, zebra, lechwe, blessed buck, all this stuff in one frame. When you just sit there still and pick apart under each bush. They're everywhere. It's just seeing them.
Well,
was the hard part.
And to that point, having good optics makes 100% difference, because you'll try some optics that are you think they're good when you're at the store and you got the bright lights shining in. But Jason recommended these Leicas for us, and we both got a pair. And
binos, that's what you guys had for binos over there.
And so our
these are some of the questions I want to ask too.
Cheers,
about
Jason.
Cheers, Buggers.
Well, so our PH was running another brand. I don't want to say the brand, but he was wearing another brand, and they were okay, right? You see,
you can say the other brand. Huh?
Yeah, they're great until
they're
know.
Vortex, right?
Yeah.
So they're okay.
Yeah.
But
Shout
then
out
he threw up
Vortex.
the Leicas, and he's like, oh man, there's a kudu at 1,000 yards. We didn't see any bush buck, but that's what I want to see. But it makes such a difference on the experience you have, and because you're glassing for so long. It makes a difference on your eyes. Your eyes are
you
not
can
beat up.
forget. You could forget or just lose just about anything on that hunt and still be okay borrowing stuff. You lose your good pair of binoculars. That is a hunt where you need good binos.
Yeah, that's kind of the most important thing in the optics. Oh,
Yep.
and that reminds me of something. If you want to go and you don't want to deal with taking guns, and probably most outfitters, but Crusader definitely has guns you can use.
Yeah.
So for me, I would not do it probably if I didn't, have a gun company and want to take our stuff. But you don't even have to go through that hassle. You can just go and use
And they have
their
good guns.
They've got
that-
good guns, cool guns.
Socos and
Texas
stuff.
Hill Country custom. Yeah.
Yeah, they had good stuff, good optics.
But
Yeah, I think it was
the,
all
the
Swarovski.
binos are super important. Your rifle scope's super important, and your boots.
Yeah, boots.
And your bullet selection.
The Leicas
Yeah.
that you guys got, those Trinovid 10x42s, $999 is the best,
Really?
the best deal in binoculars.
Super clear.
Yeah.
Yep, super clear. You guys each got a pair. I took a pair of Leica Noctavids. The first time I've really spent a ton of time in those. and they were incredible.
Yeah.
And their light transmission was really good. You know, that was where I really wanted to see the comparison difference.
Yeah, don't
between
be a cheap ass on it too. I mean, think
No,
you'll
get good
keep,
binos.
you'll keep
Yeah.
binoculars for 20 years.
forever.
Like,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
it matter?
The binos are more important than your rifle scope.
That is a point I 100% agree
Yeah.
with.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, you're
You
spending
need
a lot
to
of
be
time
able
on the
before you can
binos.
even think about executing the shot. You need to identify your game properly. Make sure it's the right animal, and really get set up with your binos first before you transition to the rifle. Binos are more important than the rifles.
I 100%, and I didn't believe that before, but I 100% believe it now.
A rangefinder, quality rangefinder too.
That too.
Like,
Very important.
and if you can combine the two, if you can
or
fork out the
rangefinder
money,
binos, yeah.
because halfway through the hunt, Murph hooked me up. He took my Leicas and he handed me a Swaro laser
Swaro
rangefinder
EL
binos,
ranges, yeah.
and those were a game changer. My PH every 5 minutes is like, oh, can I borrow this real quick? You know, because it's a game changer being able to identify and lays a target for range immediately and know if that's can I make that shot or no right now.
Well, Jason was telling me about the new Leicas and that their rangefinder, they kind of upgraded the processor so it was super fast.
Super fast.
3200.com. So you put your ballistic data in there, and not only are you have a one-stop shop for your shooting scenario and your correction and everything else.
So angle,
super
which
fast.
is important.
It's going to calculate
Yeah.
everything for you and tell you your correction in the glass. And so everything, like anytime, like one of you guys said earlier, when you're trying to get set up on your tripod or you're screwing around with something, you don't like every second that you're taking screwing around with something before getting on the trigger can cost you that animal.
Because you remember we'd been hunting that, like there was the one copper springbuck we were seeing.
Yep.
And we had been hunting that for days and finally located him. And we get up there. And it's so weird because you get focused on something, you don't realize the angle that you're shooting at. You're like, oh, that's not that big a deal. And I remember that animal I shot and it was in a very awkward shooting position, but I felt great when I squeezed the trigger. And so our PH, like, you shot just over him, and I was like, oh, same hold. I was right on him, same placement. Then he's like, and so I like listened to him, and I held like 6 inches low or whatever it was, or just under him, and drilled him,
Smoked him,
and like I just didn't realize, and so I hadn't programmed all the angle stuff, which was a mistake, and I won't do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up. Red did a good job, and he's using Zeiss, and he has like a separate rangefinder. So I actually tipped him those Swaros with the rangefinder.
Yeah.
And so hopefully it's a game changer.
I like the Swaros. The glass is good on the Swaros.
Oh, they're
very
great.
good.
Yeah.
But that EL range that you have does not give you your correction. It will not calculate anything. It will tell you, like, great glass for identifying the target. Rangefinder for
processor's
giving you
slow
your
for their
range.
range or-
It's not
very
even that
extended.
slow. It's not
decent speed.
Yeah, it's decent speed. But the difference is like, so with those binos, you're identifying, you're getting your range, and then from there you go to your dope card or your Kestrel or whatever it is to get your solution, your ballistic solution,
ballistics.
right? But if you have the 3200.coms, you identify game, range it, get your correction in the glass. So you are going strictly from identifying, hitting the button, and then you're going straight to your correction on your rifle scope.
Yep.
And that makes a huge difference. That cuts down a lot of time.
No.
To me, it shaves off enough time to give you an edge, like the edge
Well,
you
it's
actually
one
need.
less-
Take that extra breath and
Yep.
get steady.
One less thing to mess up too. In high stress, it's so
Yep.
easy to mess
Anything
up.
that can give you an edge in the speed and the accuracy of what you're
Yeah, you
doing,
take it.
You take it.
I
Did you
agree.
run
Every
into
time.
an issue at one point, which was like an unforeseen issue? I thought I overheard it. I'm not sure. When your dope that you had dialed in was meters, and Rad normally over there in Africa, that's what they deal with is meters. But when
Yards.
Americans come over, they automatically say, "All right, they're in yards."
Yeah, he
and
just
so
left
didn't he
me a
give you corrections in
voicemail
yards, and then you,
chastising me about it like yesterday to make
what
sure I get in
American?
yards.
What are you measuring meters for?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter that much
was, like,
unless
mad at you.
you're using a 16-inch gun and you're shooting like 550.
Right.
Then, and you're shooting an animal that weighs 70 pounds. It can make a difference.
Yeah.
Was 550 the farthest shot that we shot when we were in Africa?
No.
I was gonna say, what was the average engagement?
Mike, what'd you get?
I want
Mike?
to get to that.
Mike. Yeah.
I took maybe an 11 or 1200 yard shot.
It was like 13.
1300 yards.
He booked one out
But
there.
did you hit it?
The line was good, according to Mike. My line was good.
I motivate my clients, all right? I gotta keep
I like
it
it.
Not his fault. The
positive.
animal
Let me tell
moved.
you something. You need a mic with you. in
I didn't tell him to dial an extra.
That is 100%
revolution on a
the
turret.
truth. Everybody
Always.
should hunt with Mike because not only
here
will
for
he
motivation.
keep you calm when you're in the shit.
You keep that crazy.
But he'll be
motherfucker
like,
calm.
he's like, I know exactly where your bullet went. Here's the correction you got to make, and it makes it.
And he's just a glass half full guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Were you hunting by
You
yourself?
missed, but man, it was
I know
close.
They were
No, so
together
I
and
had
they were
Gabe with
together.
me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm missing him special right now.
Yeah.
I wish Gabe was
His other half
Miss
is
you, Gabe.
not
Yeah.
here.
Shout out. This was pretty cool. I think it was when you shot your water buck. We were on top of the mountain.
Yeah, me, you, and Mike.
Yeah, and so we're sitting there and we had to hike down. And then, no, that's when, wait, what were we doing when you shot the zebra?
You were up on top of the mountain. You witnessed it from a different angle.
Yeah,
which is pretty
so
badass.
that was the story I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
So were you and I together then or no?
No, I was with Mike when he shot the zebra.
So I don't know who I was with.
It's some incredible shooting.
I was on top of the mountain, and we see y'all's truck kind of coming around up through the valley, and we're like, huh. And then we can see, so there's a cluster of trees, there's the road and all that, so we can see everything that's back in here, and we see them stop. We're like, wonder what they're doing. You start looking like, oh, there's a zebra there. It's like, that's a poke. And we're looking at it, and you see Mike start getting set up. So that was 7-something.
Yeah, so it stepped out originally at 680.
Yep.
And then it's like, hey, take him, turn broadside, sent one. It like high lunged him on the first side, broadside.
Yeah.
So it exited over the second lung, over the far side lung, but he sat down immediately and rolled downhill. Like,
He did, yeah.
40 yards. So we're all like, yep,
Yeah, so
dead animal.
so you guys are
He's
here
dead.
looking at it that way.
Right.
And you
He
have
was
the
hit good, too.
obstruction,
Yeah.
but we're on top. I'm on top of the mountain, and we're watching with binoculars. So when the animal disappears, we can still see everything.
Right. Yeah, he rolled and then he gets up and like takes him a dead sprint. And we're like, so that's not
Oh,
right.
so you guys couldn't see. So he disappears, and what happened was he just ran around some tree in the field and died like right
No.
there.
Yeah, well, I put
No.
a second one in him.
Put a second one in him at 7.
Yeah, and he's ranging for me, and that's the hard part. So you have to have good dope. You need to practice because what happens is
100%.
they'll gain distance. You think it's 10 yards.
Yeah, you think they're going
Gained
this way.
almost 50, 75 yards in this. So I told him, hey, lays that empty spot where he's going to. Lays it. He goes, hey, 7:30. Had my dope on, sent one, double lunged him. It actually stopped in the second lung, which was nice. And then we lost him. We couldn't find him.
Yeah, so you guys were maybe thought
We didn't
he was
really
still-
lose him.
Well, we know he didn't run outside the other bush, so we
Someone
figured,
knew where
well,
it was.
and
And
he's dead there.
I
or
don't
he's still
think
alive.
radios were working where we were.
No.
No.
And so we saw him just run around and die.
He
right?
ran out. He ran out of our sight.
Yeah,
But we didn't lose him. We knew
Yeah.
where Mike anchored it. Ooh, I say anchored him. He anchored him the first time we thought. Like, I mean, zebra went down hard, rolled side over side. And then when he got back up, I saw him where he hit him the second time. I could hear both hits. I saw both hits. Knew he was hit good.
We heard
we
the
lost
hits
sight of
where
him,
we
but
were.
we never had to go looking for
Well,
him.
he dropped
when we
behind the
actually-
bush. Yeah, and
when
the
we
other
went
two ran
tracking.
out, and then he never ran up behind him. So we're just like, maybe he's dead behind him, maybe he's not.
We found a solid blood
And
trail.
then
walked
we hear
right
the
to him.
radio finally chirp in. Yeah, no, guys, he's legs up. He's not moving.
Yeah, and then we found the blood trail and walked straight to him.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't lose him. He was
it was great.
smoked.
It was pretty cool to see from
Two
essentially-
really good shots.
What was the average? What was the average engagement distance that you guys were all?
There's really no hard to say. Between Kevin and I and our vehicle, I'd say average was 300, 350 yards.
Yeah, because I
average.
shot a couple things. Well, I shot the bush bucket like 20 meters.
Yeah, you said that.
But then the Gims buck might have been my farthest shot, and that was maybe 450 or so.
Yeah, I shot that blessed buck with the Winchester
7-something.
.6.
That was a great
shot. No, it wasn't that far.
Was it not?
468.
Around 470 yards.
Yeah, it was up
But I'm trying to remember your farthest shot, Kevin. It wasn't like none of you and I did not have anything that got up over 650. I don't think.
No, and two, I didn't train up enough to go, so I wasn't. That's kind of where I'd gotten dope on still and everything and felt comfortable. And
Yeah, that was the other part of my question. It was like when they said 680, you were just ready to poke out. Or?
Yeah, I was comfortable with it. And,
Yeah.
and the thing is, too, it was my last animal, and the zebra was a change-up. It wasn't the original list when we put the list together. So
Yeah.
another shot at Safari. Crusader Safaris, they were very amenable. He's like, hey, you want to take a zebra? We'll trade you out.
Very flexible.
This for that. And then I didn't pay any extra, which is great for me in my position. So, I was pretty comfortable. But all the other hunts I had, I hunted at pretty practical distances. The goal wasn't to shoot far.
Right.
It was
Right.
to hunt hard.
Mike
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
talked about that actually because Mike teaches long range shooting. That's what he does for a living. Teach people how to shoot long range, and everybody knew that that's what Mike does for a living. So like in
And
the
he brought the 300 Win Mag.
yeah, and he brought a 300 Win Mag, and
motherfuckers going yard.
well, he's good to go. Like he's like
gun can shoot.
No pressure, but
yeah, but like they were kind of like they'd see something at like 1,500 yards and be like, kill it, Murph.
yeah, but like, oh, that's well within your range. He's
And
like,
Mike's
dude,
like,
that's
look,
poke.
like, can I do
telling you to
this?
shoot it, but could you get right here? How's this position right here? I was like, I'm not doing that one.
No, but Mike was like super. We were talking about it. He's like, yeah, I mean, they know what I do for a living, so they want to see me shoot some long stuff. I want to be successful, and so I'm putting the brakes on that stuff. We're gonna get into like serious kill range, 100% kill range, and that's what he did. He just
Like my kudu stepped
Yeah,
out. We
'cause-
found him at 1,700 yards, and he walked in about like 8, and we're like, the question was like, can you take him? I was like, I probably could, but it's not even a high percentage shot at that point either. That's the other problem.
Yep.
He could take a step. Things can change last minute.
Yeah, I mean,
so we waited
that's a
for.
poke.
I was on
It'll
glass
take
for
a
an hour.
second to get there.
I was
Yep.
on that rifle for an hour. He walked into 400. Like, can we take him? I was like, sure. I waited.
Because-
He was at 380. Then we took the shot.
Yep.
Yeah, 800. You break the trigger. He takes a step. You shoot him far back, like you could chase him for 2 miles.
He got
there are times when like it makes sense to take that shot.
Yeah.
And it's an equation, right? Like, is the sun going down? Does this animal seem super docile? Is he grazing as the sun's going down? Have I watched him stay in a fixed position for the last 5 minutes? Like, there's an equation for that long range shot. There's also where you go, could I do this? Yes. Does it feel like I can get much closer? Yes. Let's do that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's a smart
if
call.
you feel like you can get closer, freaking get closer.
knowing your limits.
It's getting
That's a
Yeah.
big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's getting prepared and doing that equation in your head and understanding, am I giving myself the best possibility?
Yeah,
Am I giving myself the best possible chance for success? But it's also like, am I being fair to the animal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I want to kill this thing as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Does it make sense to do this right here? Maybe. Can I get closer and increase my percentage of a very quick kill? If the answer is yes, then you do it. Like, you always do that.
Yeah,
Well,
if you
there's
only
also-
practice at 100 yards, then I wouldn't stretch out much more past 200. If you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
you need to
like,
practice at long distance.
You don't practice in the field.
It will.
Well,
that
I don't want to
increase
get hung
your
up on
probability.
the. I mean, even the moral issue. Let's say somebody doesn't even have a problem with that. It's like, well, do you want to spend the next 2 days crawling through
And if you-
stuff to look
trying to
for
find
him,
one.
or do you
Yeah.
want to keep hunting?
And if you're following a blood trail, that animal is definitely wounded. And if you don't find it, that's a kill.
on your
I tell
ticket.
guys
That
that
is
come and
counted
see
as a
me.
kill, and you're not coming home with anything.
What I
So
tell
you
guys
will
that
be
come and
charged
see me
for
all the
that.
time
So-
is shoot double the distance that you're willing to actually take an animal at. So
Yeah.
whatever that distance is, cut that distance in half. That's where you should shoot an animal at.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with
your
that.
comfort
Oh,
zone. It's
that's
just
probably a
good,
great
it's just
rule
a
of
good
thumb.
comfort
Yeah, I
zone.
agree.
I agree with
Because
that.
if
You're going to
you
be
shoot
deadly
paper
at
or
half the
steel-
distance.
Yeah, if you can get a good 500
right.
yard range, shoot something at 250, that's like a chip shot now.
Yeah.
Don't stretch
Yeah,
it to
because you
6.
do want to be confident because at the range shooting targets, that's one thing. But,
Yep.
And people react differently. But when you get out there and you start seeing the animals and you have to kill something, people respond differently.
You can go ahead and open your present now. It's actually a present for everybody.
It's
but
a
I know
present
been killing
wrapped
you.
in one of my dish towels.
It is in one of your dish towels because
All right, I'm
That looks like a hat.
I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, excited to see what this is.
Oh dang! These are shot glasses
you
from
go.
40 millimeter.
Well, 40 mic actually.
they show enough. Is.
Cheers, buggers.
Cheers, buggers.
Cheers.
Is it on-
So great.
Oh,
So
40
that's
mic.
cool.
y'all
That's
can
very
take your
cool.
pick.
Did anybody
Everybody
clean
gets
these?
one. Yep, they are cleaned, epoxied,
Because I'm like, I don't know that I want to be drinking that.
Sandblasted.
sandblasted.
Oh, this
Yeah.
one's still got the links. So
They're
this was
linked
from
up.
like the Mark. Is it Mark 18?
19.
Mark 19.
19.
Yeah, 2 Mark 19s and a few
Dude.
M203.
Calling a little favor.
did you
right?
put FE on the bottom of one of those?
Yeah.
I put
Cheers.
FE on the bottom of all of them. That-
cheers,
oh,
buggers.
Look at you,
All right.
dude.
Let's
It
pass
was,
these out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So here,
you
Michael.
can- Bless you. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
you two sweet motherfuckers, I'm sure. You?
Yeah,
He's the thoughtful one.
Jay,
I've
Jay.
been holding on to
go,
those for a few years and just needed a reason to make the shot. I had plans on making
This
shot
is.
glasses out
These
of
are from when you were.
Yeah, that was
a
my
Marine.
last machine gun range. Yeah, so
No
I've
kidding.
been holding on to those
Man,
for like
I
7
was
years.
holding the tears. I was going to take it up a
Well,
notch
listen.
and then bring us down, then have the tears of your story, and then take us back
I've had
up. Now
'em.
you're
I've-
making me teary-eyed already.
I've had them sitting in a bag for like 7 years, and Coats of Anarchy helped me bead blast them, clean them up, and
Give him
he
that one. That's
laser etched. Y'all can take your pick. I'll take. whatever's left. You guys take the ones you like the most. If you like
Just
the links,
slide one on over here.
I brought the
Kev.
linked ones.
I do like-
because
Are you
I
out?
Figured,
Yeah,
I
I'm
figured you
out.
guys would like those.
I do like the links.
Yeah.
Does the DoD know you took
I want
these?
this one.
They were different.
They were a proper acquisition.
Which
Fuck the
I guess I
police.
can, I guess I can talk
All right.
Cheers,
about
buggers.
Oh,
It says,
wait.
Have one?
if
Yeah.
you can't see it, it says cheers, buggers.
So you don't even
the
drink, but
bottom.
you got
I'll suck one down,
Oh,
Papa.
I love you. I mean, not like I love them, but you're cool.
Did you say you don't even drink? He's like, I'll drink.
What, he drinks Campari, which is
Fucking good.
I don't eat. That's a whole nother podcast.
and nice, Mexican lagers. You know.
oh, I
What's
forgot
your
about
favorite
the
Mexican beer,
lager.
like a Pacifico?
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Pacifico.
Pacifico's up there.
To me, cheers to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Cheers
thanks,
to you
Dylan.
guys.
Cheers,
friends.
buggers.
Cheers.
Cheers,
You guys
buggers.
are true buggers.
Yeah.
Put hair in your chest.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And it was a live round. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good times.
That's good. That's this is that what bourbon is this? The one we opened up last night?
No, this is
No.
a new one. Knob Creek.
Oh, this is the Knob Creek.
14 year, 11 months.
Yeah. That's very good. I
glad you
mean,
enjoyed
normally I normally don't like shoot bourbon. I like to sip on it, like to enjoy
Well,
it.
it has a little sip.
There's nothing wrong with shooting it. I mean, I love shooting it too, but for good bourbon like that, I like to just kind of sip on it for a little bit and enjoy it. But this other one you brought last
Can
night,
we pour him another one? Let him sip on some shit.
What I'll say is it doesn't.
Is that his
ruin
way to
your
ask for a
palate.
second one? I
no,
think that's
what it
he's
is
asking
me
for.
saying
Yeah.
like if we're
Pour,
like
pour.
if we're gonna shoot stuff, let's shoot some cheap shit and let's
He
sip
wants
on
a
this
second
later.
one. That's all he had to say.
When did Crusader Safaris?
Yes.
All right. One word.
That's really all you need to know.
So
yes.
yeah. So what was actually interesting about it, if I got to get in depth with it, was so having not done a safari
You ain't got
ever,
to do anything.
not gone to Africa ever. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm
right.
just gonna go ahead and say
Yeah.
it. So we didn't know what to expect. So we went in with very low expectations and high hopes. Like we were just gonna go out and
You
have
hear
fun.
that shit? They knew they were going with us. You had low
So
expectations.
well, we didn't know what to expect, but we were gonna have fun. Like that was the bottom line. Like we didn't have a particular like people should go there with like I need to shoot a 55-inch plus kudu or it's not a trip for me. Like that was not us. I could have shot. I had my finger on the trigger with plenty of juvenile ones, and my PH had to pull me back. Like no, like we'll find you one bigger. I'm like, but that's a good one, But I didn't know what I was looking at. So we went in, didn't know what we were getting into, So basing it off of you guys and kind of trying to calibrate a little bit, you guys have been there before. You've had your experiences, and then seeing how much you were enjoying it, like we knew we were having a great time, and like
100%.
Murph, everybody, Gabe, we were having a blast. We would talk about it just amongst ourselves, like, dude, like this place is awesome, man. Like, does it get better than that? Like, is this good? Like, are we just having fun on our own? And then we looked at you guys like kids over there joking around, and we're like, all right, like we're in the right spot, this is cool. Like, this is actually a good time, like it's not. We're not just having a good time because it's our first time. This is actually the place you want to be. So not only was it an incredible value and everything, but it's also like that is
100%.
the
best
place that
place.
you want to be.
Best place I have visited for Plains game in 5 trips to Africa.
Yeah.
without
Just-
question.
Yeah,
Crusader.
don't put it out of your mind just because you think it's unattainable or you think it's hard to get to.
Pull that down.
Go do it.
Yep. Hold on.
Had you been to Africa, Mike?
I have not. That was actually my first big game hunt
Good to go.
ever.
Awesome. That's
Oh,
That was
that's
it.
awesome.
Whitetail deer hunted, black bear hunted with a bow, but to actually travel somewhere to a destination and go hunt, that was it. That was
It
the
was
first
so
one.
good. I mean, and we're talking. You can go and shoot right now a bunch of animals, airfare, everything, be under 10 grand.
Yep.
100%.
So people
Tips,
thinking about
everything.
it. Yeah.
The whole deal.
I mean,
Yeah.
in time of your
Bribes.
life, 2 weeks, bribes, everything.
Yeah.
All right. So Murph, why don't you take this one? Want to hunt big game? What? What animal?
That kudu hunt was special. That kudu hunt was a big deal. Big
Yeah.
body animal, right? Kind of elusive. They're happy up on the high mountains, especially where Crusader is.
Yeah.
So I think we were up, almost 6,000 feet when we killed mine.
It was hard to breathe.
Yeah, it was hard to get up there, especially go in shape if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Get in
Yeah,
shape
you
and
wanna
go to
there.
that hunt.
Yeah.
Hey, you can hunt easy again. You don't have to hunt hard. They'll do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you want that hunt to be special, get in shape, go get after it.
Kudu's a tough hunt.
They were comfortable. So, I mean, they literally
Beautiful.
When we glassed them the first day, they were 1,700 yards out, mile out. We came in from the other side, walked probably 2.5 miles to get in. Packing that thing out was almost impossible.
It's
So,
interesting. I mean, whitetail hunting
not impossible,
is
but
difficult.
it was going to be rough. And if you wanted to keep hunting, they were great about helping us out, get the animal out. But no, it was great. Nyala bulls in the North Camp, I think that was special because they told us flat out when we got there, if you're going to kill Nyala, you kill it here.
It's ground zero for Inyala.
That's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you kill them at.
Indigenous Inyala on that continent. We're hunting those in ground zero.
Free
we
range.
had a great hunt with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we banged on a few of them. Yeah, that was good.
Did what?
Banged on a few of them.
Oh.
Watch it, Jay.
Watch.
I haven't been to Africa. I don't know what they do.
This was Jackal. You guys see my fucking shot?
I guess that's
No, I didn't see it.
Can I answer that
heard
one?
it was okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I answer that one?
Yeah, wow.
So, we were cruising back from a long day of hunting. We were
Through Death Valley, as I
through
named it.
Death Valley, having a sundowner beer. Perfect scenario. Perfect. Like just rolling in the Land Cruiser, just having a laugh, having a cold unit, and then
That's me, cold unit. over there.
Kevin is a cold unit. Nah. But all of a sudden, slammed on brakes, and Rad's like, "It's a jackal! It's a jackal!" And Kevin just like one shot, just quick, like from identification to kill was 5 seconds or less. Perfect shot on the jackal. Died exactly where he stood. And to kill a jackal in daylight hours is like very, 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 very hard to do. You like it's definitely a kill of opportunistic situation. So it was just purely opportunistic. He stopped. He got smoked. Jackal are responsible for, like, everyone's like, why do you go to Africa to kill shit? Blah, blah, blah. You know, they're beautiful animals. And I'm like, yeah, they are. They're beautiful. Love killing them. Here's what it looks like if we don't.
Yeah. It's a hard life.
A pack of jackals is going to eat them from the ass forward while they're still alive.
Well, who
Yeah.
said it? I think you said it. It was a bullet is the best death they're going to have.
A bullet
Yeah.
is the
It's
best
the
death they're
best
ever
death
going to
they're
have.
gonna have.
Absolutely.
It's
And
facts.
And
quick,
so
it's clean.
Also, where we were hunting it, the reason like you're able to have a place like Crusader is because it is a sheep farm. In some areas, there
Yeah,
are
sheep and cattle.
Like you don't see them often, but you will see a herd of sheep on the side of a mountain every once in a while.
Yep.
Well, the jackal just hammer those things
Yeah.
as soon as they're born. And so if you're a sheep farmer, a jackal is like number one enemy. And so they love shooting those things, but they never get to shoot them during the day. Like you can call
No.
them at night like a coyote.
Yeah, so generally, if you want to hunt them, you have to go out at night, use
Yep.
a call a coyote. It takes a couple days. And Crusader's so cool. Another shout out to them. No charge for the jackal. They were
They just
so
want 'em dead.
happy.
They just want him dead.
Yeah, so happy. But yeah,
He walked
And-
out. Kevin burned his ass down, and it was like
Burned him.
cheers in camp. Like, I mean, it was like a big deal. It's like a holiday.
Did we get
Yeah.
a distance on that shot?
Oh, it wasn't far, like
80
80
to
yards.
100.
80 yards.
But
Pretty good for a small area.
because
Middle
I had,
of the road.
Because I had the fix. I'm in the passenger side of the truck, which is the left side over there. The fix. It was loaded. I had it was the 308. It wasn't this gun. So I had the Swarovski Z8. I had that thing on one power. I had the dot on, stock folded in my lap. He told me to shoot it. Unfold the stock, leaned out the window between the truck and the mirror, and shot it.
I thought you shot through the windshield. That would have been tight.
Yeah, it'd been tight.
That would have been.
I don't think Rad would have thought that would be tight.
He would have lost his mind. Him in that truck.
Also would have been awesome.
Who shot the cow?
What cow?
What are you talking about?
That's in here. That's in here.
Story for
Jay,
another time.
Jay,
We got it in here. We
Jay.
got it in here.
It was a
kindly
cow.
leave.
That was a Cape Buffalo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hornless.
Jason, tell us about those fucking puff adders. We're walking up the biggest mountain. I think was that Kilimanjaro. We were up? I don't know. It was
Dude,
oh
it was a serious mountain. And like you look at the mountains there, they're covered in grass and rocks. There aren't any it's not like mountains here. You don't see an alpine area where they stop and then you can see where you go beyond that, and so you can look at the trees and tell how high something is and how far away it is.
and Jason and I aren't from there. If you guys didn't know.
Yeah. We're not born and raised there on this property. And so Kevin and I start hiking up this mountain. And from the valley, it looks really doable.
Yeah, like you're gonna be up the top 10 minutes. Tops.
Yeah, it looks like super easy. And Kevin and I start up this mountain, and it is like, it's huge. And so we get...
we get separated, but
Yeah.
we're paralleling.
Yeah, and then Rad freaks out. He's like 40 yards from me. He starts shouting. He's got his dog with him. And, Rad's like, blah, 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 fuck,
bah, 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 bah. Yeah, I mean, you know how he is. Fuck off.
It's pretty accurate. Yeah.
And so
It's accurate.
it sounds like a dog barking and then the F word thrown in every once in a while.
It's like he's here.
And I'm like, dude, what's the matter? And he's like, it's a fucking buffet over here. So I was like,
So for those that don't know, let's put it on the screen. It's basically a big rattlesnake without rattles
yeah,
in Africa.
and
And
very
mean.
dangerous snake,
mean.
a very dangerous snake. And so, like, I think they're awesome. I killed one a few years ago, made a belt and a sling out of it, just a cool animal. So I went over and I was like, "Where is it?" And he was like, "It's right there." And I said, "I don't see it." Like,
And so I don't know what's going on, but they're like, I don't know, 100 meters from me, and they're just like, be still or something. I'm like, what's going on? I knew what it was at that point.
well, I'm asking him like I don't see it, and he's like, "Okay, look at your left boot. Go 3 feet in front of your left boot." There he is, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
It's about ready to bite you, right?
Yeah. So I picked up a rock because I wanted, like, my two sons think puff adders are like the coolest thing ever, and so I was like, I told Rad, I was like, I'm just gonna kill it with this rock and then skin it out. So I picked up a rock and I just smashed the rock on top of this thing's head. And as Rad would say, he quickly fucked off underneath another rock. Because honestly, I think from here on out, we should start using the phrase "fuck off" very interchangeably. The way that Rad uses it.
Yeah, it's so good. It just means like it left.
It can mean all kinds of different things.
Road
but,
cone.
But so this snake fucked right on off.
Poachers.
He fucked right off underneath another rock. And
Shot at them, they fucked right off.
yeah, he fucked off underneath another rock, and I wasn't gonna pick that rock up to try to make a belt, like, because that's how you die. But his head exploded, and but he literally, like, we couldn't find him. He turned and went right underneath the rock.
They were not committed to finding him.
And
there I am, like 100 yards
Kevin
away.
got really upset because then we got to the top of the mountain, and we were up there for a while, and we had to go back down. It was getting dark, and Kevin's like, "Well, where was that snake?" And we're like, "I don't know." And Kevin's like, "One of the most poisonous snakes on the planet, and now I've got to walk down the mountain. You guys don't even remember where he was." And we're getting to, like, walk through.
Kevin was worried
He
that
could
he was
have a
mad.
mate.
No.
Mad snake.
Yeah. He was right. Like,
He
right
was
to be
very,
annoyed.
very upset, apparently.
But
yeah,
puff adders
so-
are no joke.
Yeah, and so it's getting dark, and we got to walk down the mountain. It's going to take us like 30 minutes to get down the mountain, and yeah. So anyway, it's not an exciting time for me.
Yeah. We ran into a black mamba skin. We were looking for Ray's Impala that ran off after he shot it, and as we're tracking it, we found a fresh black mamba skin just wrapped up in the grass, and we're like, all right, that's just a reminder that they're there. We didn't
Meanwhile,
see one,
it's
but it's
knee-high
like
grass.
Yeah. And it's like the fastest snake in maybe the world, and they get
Fast,
like 20 feet long.
aggressive, and one of the most
And-
deadly.
Yeah.
And then just the day before we left at that same the jungle camp that we went to, Umkamas there, a black mamba looked inside of one of the other guides, one of the other PH's Land Cruisers.
Like, stuck his
that
head
very
right up
day.
in
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah, looked in there, like
Yeah,
checked
they
it out,
can
like he
raise
was just
up.
looking to see what kind of snacks they had, and then just kind of moved on. Like, I mean, they're there. You got to watch out for them for sure.
I don't like think. I just like to go about that whole thing in ignorance.
They also,
so you guys just keep those stories from now on.
Andrew Pringle also had a video of what was it, the rock python,
Rock python,
that was
yeah.
right in camp too, the big rock python.
Immediately with another
It's
story.
like 12 feet long. Like,
You can save those
yeah,
stories.
we got to see if we can find
Immediately
that.
with another story.
Yeah, as soon as I'm done with this story, then.
Yeah.
All right.
Either way, snakes.
Guys, I don't know about any more snakes. Here's another snake story, guys.
One of the funniest stories for me.
I'd like to know.
So I'm hunting my buddy Mike over here and Jason.
Murph.
And so I shoot a zebra. And
what's a
Mike Murphy drops his new iPhone face down. Fresh zebra dookie and blood. I mean, it just... Right, that was
It was
such
a slow
great-
fall,
You
too, the
remember this?
problem.
It was amazing.
It was the slowest of falls.
What sound
So-
did it make?
splat?
It just went.
Just
It went-
splat.
So let me ask a question, Mike. Were you conscientious enough to make sure that nobody else touched your phone after that fact, or did you?
Before we give him another,
No, we were
let's-
calling him
let's
and
hear
texting him
say
all the time.
conscientious, like a normal person. Before we pour him another bourbon.
Conscientious,
Courteous.
Listen,
Are you
I'm, like,
conscientious?
I'm like 4 or 5 in, not to mention the
I
5
see
or
it.
6 last
You
night.
try to help a friend out, roll a zebra over.
We've
Yeah.
all had the
Pictures.
same amount.
And
Yeah.
this is what you get for it.
I know.
My
it was,
phone was plugged into a battery pack in my chest rig, so I'm figuring, it'll be pretty stable.
He's a professional. Who am I to tell him that's
The
maybe
phone
not the best
falls
thing to
out,
do?
but it's it's tethered by the cord. So I
Oh,
look
yeah.
down and I go,
So Mike's bent
won't
over,
fall.
like rolling this zebra over to take a picture. And we're kind of in a tight area, so I'm kind of I should have been doing it, but I'm trying to run around like 4 other guys trying to find a spot, and I'm like, well, fuck it, there's just no room. So I'm right behind Mike, and his phone pops out, and I was like, oh, should I grab it? And then what happens? But it's dangling by the cord.
So I'm like, it'll be fine. I'll keep rolling.
We started to roll it over. We watched the dookie come out of the zebra in a big pile of blood, and then so it's dangling out.
Yeah.
And you thought you were safe.
I thought it was good.
And then what happened?
And then it fell, and it was like the slowest half-second fall ever. I was like, I should probably splat.
Oh,
Blood. It was
face
blood
down.
and shit. Yeah, it was just face down on the screen. I think the tracker came over. He just looked at me and just goes, "Sorry."
So Mike's over there getting leaves and stuff, trying to wipe all this shit off of it. But then I don't know, Rad or somebody had some wet wipes, or maybe I did.
Yeah, no, we had toilet paper. We were marking if we needed to mark something, so we had some toilet paper.
Brad for sure carries at least a roll of toilet paper and maybe some wet wipes everywhere.
We know
he
this.
goes.
In his
yeah.
pocket.
Well, it was so funny because then after that, it's like you call Mike and he's like, "Yo, what's up, man?
You got zebra dookie on your face.
Pretty good." Well, Jason went to take the pee, but I was going to say his water buck story was pretty good, but it wasn't that good.
He's at a meeting.
He shoots on the edge of this mountain, and it stumbles, and goes down the mountain end over end. It was a big mountain. We're like, oh, man. It got caught on a ledge though, which was pretty great, 50 yards below.
Here he comes. Which, if you don't know what a water buck is, it's a giant animal.
Yeah, water bucks are just monsters.
They're just huge.
Yeah, I was telling you your water buck story where he started cartwheeling down the mountain. That was pretty great. All right.
That's a true story. That's all I have to say about it.
All right. Well, I mean, I would say Jay could even get this one. So, best hunting rifle in the world.
Oh, the Fix.
The Fix.
Ever heard of it?
I have, and it actually enabled me to shoot, I think, 3 animals that no one else shot because had stock folded in my lap. They were ready to go. Where
True
these guys
story.
were fucking off.
I've been after a bush buck for years, and Kevin, I think, just found out what a bush buck was right when we were getting off the plane and shot one out of the window.
After he shot it?
Yeah. He asked what it was after he killed it. But I will say, man.
What was that?
I've hunted over there crowded in vehicles before. And we had a crowded vehicle. It was me and you, Rad,
Oh, all my shit. Yeah.
Guy, and Dexter, or Desi. Desmond. And so it was it got crowded. And the fact that those things folded up, we had 2 of them in the truck at all times. It made a huge difference. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I had mine folded up behind the backseat of the Hilux the whole time, and the Model 70 in my lap. It was you can put it anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they're great.
it's hard to shoot fast when it's
And
behind the seat.
the true
I had
testament,
mine.
But it was in the truck. It was
the true
accessible.
testament to them was the responses from the PHs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And every PH over there was like, holy hell, we've got to have these.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right. Ray, what about you? Favorite African animal to hunt? We kind of did this.
Hunt or kill, because for me the bush buck was the most elusive animal that we went after.
I shot one.
Yeah, I heard that you shot
There is a difference
one.
between hunting and killing. We did
Yeah.
find that out.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward, and I've been messaging Andrew that I would really like to find a bush buck next time I go.
We'll tie one to a tree for you.
That would be appreciated, preferably in
catching
close distance so I could actually hit it. But I think between the bush buck and just the way the Inyalas move around, I didn't personally take an Inyala. He did, and that was a really cool hunt for me to be a part of. And my goal was to try to record that and film that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool experience. And it was terrible filmography.
Not all
So
goals are reached.
the email you sent to
Filmography.
Andrew, did it say
Filmography.
something like
Is that a word?
it's 480,000 acres and it's a wild animal, but I need you to make this happen?
I kind of said I'd like to bribe him
Yeah.
in exchange for tying up a bush buck. I mean, it could be a very young one. I'm not ageist.
Could be a juvenile,
as long as it's got a little horn. I mean, it's
not an ageist.
Well, I will say that it is kind of cool if you go with a friend or there is a group and we split up. 2 guys goes with a PH. Some of the best hunts are watching and helping the other guy.
100%.
Yeah.
If you're filming, you're spotting, you're watching for the shot, you're ranging.
Well, so I'll throw it in there since he's not here, and I was with him the entire time. Gabe. So Gabe went to film originally and take photos. and then talked to Andrew, worked some stuff out. He got to hunt, so I was on his kudu hunt, and he shot a big kudu bull.
He did.
And I mean, like, he put a fantastic shot on one. But he got, went from like filming to game time immediately. And being a part, just being with him, being able to call in for him, be able to help him out and spot that animal was badass for me personally.
Yeah.
And then he was on my hunt, which was nice too. He was able to keep me calm and, hey man, you got the shot, don't worry about it, breathe, relax. Things I'd tell my clients all the time.
Yeah.
But he's hunted more than I have. So, being a part of that.
100%.
I was on your kudu hunt as well, so that was
fun.
great.
I mean, it is
Very
a huge
awesome.
part of the experience because I actually don't mind hunting by myself.
Right.
But if you've got a good buddy to hunt with, it just makes it so much more fun. Yeah.
I would say you and I bonded on that trip, Kevin.
Oh, a ton.
I mean,
we
can't
had
help it.
Like
such a
glue.
great time.
such a good time, dude.
Oh, yeah, and made probably
We
two
were-
lifelong friends.
We were
Guy
pals.
and
We were
Red.
pals before
Yeah.
we went on that trip, you and I. But like came back like, man, I can't wait to hunt with Kevin again. And
thank
it was just awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, same for me. I mean, we knew, and it just got better and better. It's like, the laughs just started earlier every day, and the good times, and what a
And then when Mike came and hunted with us, it just made it everything that much funnier, that much more fun.
the last
It
couple
just-
of days.
it
Oh
just
my
added.
God, we had a good
It
time.
just added to it, especially like one of the, been hunting for years.
Well, hey, this will go into that. Let me say this.
this
Favorite
it?
memory from our hunting trip
Okay.
to South Africa.
I'll tell you what
I
it
think
was.
I know what you're gonna say.
You know what it is. So,
Mine was Dookie.
that was watching Mike's phone
Dukey's
fall into
right up
zebra poo was awesome. But like, I loved being with Mike on his zebra hunt. Mike and I met several years ago in Charleston at Seawee thing.
Seawee show.
And then when I was shooting with him on the range, we were talking about hunting, and I was like, you got to come to Africa. And so we made the trip happen, and he was with Gabe a lot because they were doing a lot of film work and stuff like that. And then being able to be with him for his zebra was like one of the top experiences of the trip. But when me, you, and Mike were it was the last day. Everybody else had already even left camp, and they went to Port Elizabeth. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, they did.
everybody- It was
didn't they?
it was me, you, and Mike were the only ones still in camp, and we were riding in the Land Cruiser, and you really wanted a fallow deer.
Yeah.
And,
Which aren't native there, but they have them.
They're not
there.
native, but they're free range because they brought them in the 1800s. The settlers brought them in.
Have
in
they
the
been there that
1800s.
long? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, they've been
Okay.
there since the 1800s. They brought them in from Europe a long time ago, and we're riding in the Land Cruiser, and Mike is glassing, and we stop, and Mike's like, "You guys see that nice fallow deer standing over there?" And he's
Yeah,
like,
because what were we hunting, actually? We're hunting
Buffalo.
something.
Buffalo.
We were
You're
looking
chasing
for
that
Buffalo
we-
in the fog.
We were looking for that
Terrible
Cape
idea.
Buffalo.
fog and
Yeah.
rain, slippery roads. Yeah.
So
Real
Rad, our PH, he's glassing too, and then go ahead.
"Excuse me for talking while Ray was interrupting."
I'm sorry.
So,
You're forgiven.
so we were really looking for buffalo.
Cheers, bugger.
Cheers, bugger. And then Mike just so nonchalantly, he's like, "Do you guys see that nice fallow deer over there?"
Well, the reason I asked nonchalantly because I haven't hunted a lot, so I don't know what a really good fallow deer is. So I don't want to be the jackass like, "There's the monster fallow deer." You're like, dude, that thing's
but you
like
did
2
you,
years
you
old.
did say it was not. You're
So
like,
I go, hey
"Looks
man,
like a
I
nice
think
one."
that's a really nice fallow deer, and I was looking for like a little bit of confirmation. He's like me, is like, oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's a stud right there. And
Did Rad see it?
Rad's like, I don't see it. And Kevin at this point goes, oh, I see it. And Kevin is in the front. He's the one that was really after a fallow deer. And so he's like looking at it, he's like, I see it. And Kevin is like already like jacking his rifle around inside the vehicle to get out and like shoot this thing. And Rad's going, I don't see it. Where is it? Mike's like, he's right. You see those rocks right over there? He's right there. And Rad goes,
Which was so weird because this was an unusual circumstance for the PH to be the last one to spot something.
yeah, very, very unusual because Rad's eyes are like he's got,
he's
he sees like a hawk. And he's like, I don't see it. I'm looking. Shoot that fucking fallow deer. Like he just freaks out, right?
But it was way louder. Like,
was-
we're just because we're all trying to be
He
quiet.
shouts it.
And then all of a sudden it's like, shoot that fucking
We're all like just cool.
scared me to
Kevin's
death.
like being super fluid with his movements, like getting his rifle, like getting everything folded out, getting the door open, and like he's
and
just
I
being
panicked when
like
he
he's
did
getting
that.
ready to set up on this thing. Like everything's calm. He's getting ready to kill this fallow deer. It's a nice one. And then Rad
just like sends everybody's adrenaline into the red line, dude.
What do you
To the
say?
fucking fellow there. And me and Mike just immediately look at each other as Kevin's getting out of the Land Cruiser. Mike and I are looking at each other just like cracking up. I mean, we're just laughing our asses off. Kevin gets out, just puts a perfect shot on this thing, and for the next hour and a half, every 2 minutes, one of us, as we're riding in the truck with this dead fallow deer in the back of the Land Cruiser truck, every 2 minutes, one of us would just go, shoot that fucking fallow deer, and everyone would just
every time.
everyone would just crack up laughing. It was great. That was my favorite moment of the
That's
hunt.
really funny.
That was a great time. That was a great time. Rad, I wonder what we should call him right now.
We should call Rad.
What rifle caliber are you taking next time?
For Plains game. So here, like you and I are trying to get some fixes into that country, so that we can leave them, so that we don't have to take any rifles.
Yeah, it'd be great. Anybody, and when mine's over there, anybody that listens to this goes through Crusader, you'll be welcome to use my rifle while you're there.
Yeah. For Plains game, I will take at a minimum one fixed rifle. In like I hunted with both the 6.5 and the 3.8. I know you got the 8.6 coming out, which is awesome, but the versatility of the 6.5 and 3.08 over there is just hard to beat. Yeah. So it will be at a minimum a fix in 6.5 or 3.08. I'm hoping. Well, you definitely won't have. And I guess I won't talk much about what you have in the pipeline, R&D wise, but you definitely won't have one of the rifles we've talked about yet that you guys are working on. That's gonna be coming. That will be, to me, will make it the ultimate African rifle.
Mega
We could talk
fix.
about it. Mega fix.
The
Yeah,
Mega
we can
Fix.
talk
Okay.
about it.
So the Mega Fix, to me, like, in my opinion, for Plains game, if you're like on a Plains game hunt, and it will take a lot more than just Plains game if you want it to, but it's not legal to use for a lot of your bigger stuff. But a fix in 300 Win Mag, to me, is going to be the most versatile rifle. I mean,
Yeah.
on that continent, it is the most versatile utility rifle on the continent. That gun
Even a
and 300 Win Mag.
16-inch barrel, a 16-inch
Yep.
barrel, that's an
100%.
18, or that's an 800-meter kill.
Especially
gun.
if you guys can throat it for something a little bit longer, and you can take advantage of like the 210, the 200 to 215. If you get some of those heavy bullets in that thing at a 16-inch barrel, it's a deadly son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I hear the heavier in the throat, the better.
right now.
Throat pillow.
You guys are so
Beautiful.
It's
That's
Kevin.
straight from Murph's
Oh, the
mouth.
edits.
That's
Maybe we
straight
just
from
beep
Murph's
it. You
mouth.
can put a thing over them that says "beautiful."
yeah.
Beautiful.
It's okay. It's okay. Still want to share a safari camp with you again.
Yeah, you do.
But a fixed rifle in 300 Win Mag, truly probably the ultimate Plains game utility rifle. It'll fold in half, compact in the truck, kill everything with it. And in reality, like,
And it's lightweight. You sling it.
it's
you
lightweight,
can hike with it.
and the truth is that if you wanted to use it for something gnarly, if you wanted to shoot a Cape Buffalo with it, or an elephant with it, or anything else on the dangerous, like, or the big 5, whatever, 300 Win Mag is more than enough gun. People have been killing those animals with a lot less than 300 Win Mag for many, many years.
8.6 maybe.
8.6 would be fantastic. I just like the 300 Win Mag for like a do-it-all.
It's great. Well, and throughout the world too, because ammo is available everywhere. Great cartridge. Well, I'm never going to ask the rest of you guys that because I don't want it to feel like you got to say the fix. So
We all
but-
said
Well,
the fix
so-
at 8.6.
Yeah, I mean, just something like that. You said that it's not legal to use on a lot of the dangerous game. What are the specifications of that? And then, will 8.6 fill that void or no?
8.6 will not. So in a lot of the African countries, if you're going to hunt the big 5, some of the cat species in certain countries will let you shoot a 9.3 by 62 as your smallest. And
most countries will specify that you need a minimum of a 375.
Yeah,
375.
so
And
it's
the
kinda
86 is a
ridiculous.
338.
The 86 is
Yeah,
38, right?
they name it by like cartridge rather than
Yep.
energy or
Yep.
anything
Right.
like that.
They name it by
So it's kinda
diameter.
stupid.
Pure
And that's just
diameter.
strict
Oh, is it
diameter.
diameter?
It's
Yeah.
diameter. It's
Yeah,
not cartridge. It's diameter.
Okay.
And so the
But
minimum diameter in a lot of the states, a lot of the African countries, is 375.
But the 12.5-inch 8.6 is going to kill a monster.
Kill it.
Cape
Yeah.
buffalo.
Oh, easily. It
So
will easily.
a
do it.
45-70 would be fine for it, but
Even though-
8.6
even
black
though
would
it's not, even though it's not the right gun.
Right.
Yes.
100%. But by their parameters, that's ideal.
Well, you're talking about a
Government making
government
laws.
specified restriction
Right, yeah.
by people in the government that don't hunt.
Yep.
All right. So
All right.
speed round with this question. All right. So we'll let everybody go. We'll start with you, Ray. We'll work this direction.
Sounds good.
Optic and magnification next time you go there to hunt.
I was really happy with the optic that I took. So
What'd
I
you
took,
take?
Swarovski Z8i 3.2 by 16 or 2.3 by 16, something like that. I thought it was fantastic. You know, for a
He's
lot
got
of
attorney money.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is a fantastic.
Buy once,
optic.
cry once.
Yeah, and that was literally
The 2 to
thought
15
process.
range is
What did everything
really
you wanted it to
great
do, and he's
for
happy with it. You take it again, so
Yeah.
that tells you everything you need to know.
hunting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I brought 2 rifles, so I had a Z6i Swaro on the fix, 2 to 12, and
I love that one.
It was awesome. The furthest shot I made with that one was I think just over 300,
Yep.
and it was perfect for that.
Yeah.
And then on the Model 70, I had a 3 to 18 loophole VX6 HD,
Yeah.
and that was awesome. I needed that magnification on several of the shots.
Did you have an instance where you needed a 1 power or anything?
I mean, I found that more of the close shots were made with the fix, and I had the 2 power, and that was plenty.
2's pretty good.
Yeah, 2's pretty low. I think anything you do with the 1, you could do with the 2 in a hunting scenario. But
And Yala.
I think 99% of the time that's
yeah,
true. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it worked out.
Oh, that's not okay.
Probably college 3.5 to 18.
Is that what you use there?
No, I use a X5i, a Swarovski X5i.
Oh,
So they made like a big turret, like hunting scope. The one sitting back there, won't do that again. It did not hold up to those conditions at all.
Oh, you mean the turret?
Yeah, so the turret screws wound up walking, just from all the wear and tear while we're riding around and walking. Hiking
Oh,
down the mountain. So,
vibration
yeah.
and stuff nonstop.
So the
yeah.
Collis, I think, a little bit more beefy. They're built for
Yeah,
competition,
the
so they can take a little
military,
more of a hammer,
yeah.
right? And then, but I'm going to be testing out a Leupold here in a little bit, a Mark 5.
Yeah.
3.5 to 18. So once I get my hands on that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I like first focal plane. Now this is a preference thing again.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable shooting first focal plane,
I like
even
it
with
as
some
well.
tight scenarios at low power. So yeah, 3 power, 2 power, like he's saying, is good to go. And then really don't need more than 15 power realistically.
Yeah.
Even if you shoot at 5 and 6, if you had to.
I mean, on this, I had 18, and probably 75% of the shots I took with this, after I would, shoot, I would look and I would be on like 8 or 11 power. Like, I don't know that I ever used 18, actually. Because, your field of view shrinking
shrinks
and
down,
everything. If you got a herd or animals are moving, like, you just got to dial out. And, I mean, people would be shocked if you go out and spend time shooting, even at 1,000 and plus, what you can do with 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 power. And a lot of times, especially like if you go in Africa when it's warm or anywhere when it's hot, once you get to 12, 15, and there's mirage, like you can't use the rest
Get
of
a
it.
lot of mirage when we were, get all that green backdrop, plus a lot of mirage. It's hard to actually cut through some of that stuff. So usually back down to 15 power, 18 power anyway.
Yeah.
Or low light too.
Because, I mean, and I'm a magnification whore. Like, if I'm in a position, and usually that's got to be prone or something where you can dial up and you've got 25 power and everything's still and you got perfect conditions, like I use it, it's just that is 1% of hunting scenarios.
Yeah, I'm shooting at a fixed target, probably a pretty small target at far range, so it's a target gun at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. So it's kind of different. And then the more magnification, generally the scopes are bigger and heavier. And I think people get used to that now. We're so spoiled by the magnification that if you just dial it down or you get a smaller scope and you go out and spend time on the range, how well you can shoot with a less magnification and you get a smaller optic.
Agreed.
And good field of view, which is important for hunting. Like target, you get locked in on, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, I know when I was in Wyoming a couple weeks ago for 2 weeks, so I'm shooting targets. We're shooting from the bench a lot. And so, I'm dialed up to 18 power, 25 power. And then if I had to go from like 300 to 400, even to find it, I had to dial down just to find, a 4x8 target. Right. It's amazing. What about you, man? You took a cool scope.
I did. I took the new VX3.
Leupold, shout out.
2-8, yeah, awesome. 2-8 by 32.
2-8 compact scope.
Compact scope with a CDS on it, and we stretched it out to 470.
The CDS, what is that there?
Their ballistic system, so that like you can get a turret cut, but it's in MOA. So I just used MOA. I didn't use a custom turret. I just used MOA and my dope built into my rangefinder. So for an 8-power scope, I was making hits at like what? 470.
470, yeah.
470 with 30-06 with an 8-power scope.
A Zebra.
I was there. I saw that. It was that was maybe the best shot of the whole fucking trip.
Well, the Zebra, like I was just impressed with the Barnes TSX from Unknown Munitions.
Bullets.
And a 30-06, 180 grain.
What'd you guys see, a bald eagle again?
No, we were just all looking at each other when he said that was the best shot of the trip.
There was
No, Danny.
relatively speaking.
Danny had some longer.
Danny
shots.
I mean, I will say, Danny.
Dead-eye.
But I did
Danny
utilize that
fucking won
CDS
the
style.
trip.
The guys in
Right.
onesies got very uncomfortable when you said that.
that blessed
But no,
puppy.
what I was impressed
no
with.
You weren't there, okay?
No disrespect.
What I was impressed with was the actual performance of the 30-06 on different game there.
100%.
It's an antiquated caliber. Everybody knows that. But with 180 grain
It worked on the
TSX,
Germans.
Dude, it did. And I shot that like a zebra is a tough animal.
Yeah,
I know
it's a big
for some of you
fucking
guys,
animal.
like you guys have not hunted them before.
They're big, right?
It's
You
big
push
and
that
it's
one
tough.
over when your phone fell into
Everything
the
there
It's
is tougher.
big. They
Everything's tougher.
shit.
Produce a
They
lot of
shit
shit.
in piles big enough for you to drop
and a
your
lot
phone
of it,
into.
yeah.
They're just a gnarly animal. But that 180 grain Barnes and a 30-06 went in one shoulder, through both lungs, exited the far shoulder.
Never loses any mass and it
No,
expands.
in a 30-06. So it's plenty for today's hunts. Everybody like runs it down because
Yeah.
it's 100 years old, whatever.
Well, no, 30-06 is awesome. I
It
mean, you
is.
can have a more efficient case, but just overall.
It's
But
awesome.
that Barnes bullet, and it's no surprise, whether it's discrete ballistics where they do the subsonic, the copper, solid copper expandings, and now they're doing hotline ammo, so the supersonic expanding.
Yep.
They're doing their own bullet design, but now you see Federal.
Bunch of people are using
You
them.
see everybody doing solid copper. Hornady, their GMX line, which is really good, but
that Barnes TSX,
Barnes has
Unknown
got it
Munitions,
dialed in,
like
man.
they sent me 100 rounds.
So this is back up. So this place is a place where if you have, what is this place you're talking about?
Unknown Munitions?
Yeah.
Okay, so Unknown Munitions is a company that makes high-end, like premium ammo in small batches. So you can send them your custom load if you
Yeah.
want
So
to.
who's the customer? So Jason Benson, he's going on a hunt to Africa.
Okay, I told them this was at peak COVID, weird shit going on. You can't find ammo anywhere
Oh,
else.
God, you couldn't
and I
find
sent them a message and I was like, hey, I need some 30-06 ammo. I'm heading to Africa. I need a Barnes bullet. And I was thinking they were probably going to load me a 165, something like that. They sent me a box of 180 grains. And this is a Winchester Model 70 30-06 that I'm using. And I didn't know if it had the twist rate for. I didn't even know what my twist rate was at the time. But when they sent me a 180, I was like, man, I hope it'll stabilize it. Whatever. Took it out of the range. First group was under a third of an inch, and it stayed under a half an inch the whole time.
Did you tell them what rifle you were shooting or just the caliber?
Just the caliber.
You didn't even mention the rifle.
I just told them I needed some 30-06 ammo, and so they sent the 180 grain, and I was like, ooh, normally 180, you think 300 Win Mag.
All I know is 8-power scope, 30-06 blessed buck, 470 yards.
Yep.
Right through the shoulder.
Oh, drop.
The zebra,
Oh,
the zebra penetration was, in my mind, like it was the real test for a 30.
Well, I mean, yeah, 180. That's where it's good.
but no, it was awesome.
Backed it right up the fence.
That is not the scope that I would typically use. So I'm a huge Leupold fan. They sent me a 3-15 VX3 HD, 3-15 by 50, and I zeroed it, got everything ready. When I went to reset the turret, so you have 3 hex screws that come out of the turret so that you can set the zero stop. 2 of them came out. 1 of them would not come out. I stripped several hex wrenches trying to get the screw out. First time I've ever had an issue with Leupold, right? Not afraid to say it.
Anybody that makes that volume of stuff, there's going to be something go wrong.
Leupold, they had some absolute unit cranking in screws that day. Like the guy had too much Monster Energy. He cranked the shit out of it. I couldn't back the screw out. So I had to swap from the 3-15 to the 2-8. Wasn't stoked about it because it was only a 32 objective.
But it had the
I
same
thought
CDS.
it was I mean,
Dude,
we
it
hunted together
performed.
for 2 weeks. I thought it was a great setup.
It performed perfectly.
Yeah.
I wished I had a little bit more on the magnification, but I mean,
Well, you got to use my fix in.
I got to use his fix, but I love that scope. My favorite loophole scope for hunting Africa is the same scope you use, the 3.6 to 18 Mark V.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the thing. Like,
Yeah, shout
Mike
out
had
them.
that.
They sent me that for the hunt.
Yeah, they
it's
did.
great.
Mike had that issue with Swarovski. Just to be completely honest about the scopes that we all took over there, Swarovski's going to have the best glass and the best light transmission.
Yeah, facts.
Period. Loopold is going to have the best durability. And the Loopold is actually lighter than the crossover Collis that Swarovski makes, which is
Yeah,
which
which
is an
I-
awesome scope.
Well, I talk about it a lot. A lot of the military scopes, whether it's Night Forest, Collis, or whoever, they just have to add so much stuff to meet these
They do.
requirements that we're not going to encounter hunting. Which in the Marine Corps, maybe you guys you'll encounter. Like we're not. Like
Yep.
if our gun goes 100 feet underwater, salt water for like 10 hours.
The real problems.
Yeah,
My
So it's not-
priority
the hunt's
there,
over.
my priority on this hunt, like on an African hunt,
and we'll just fuck off at that point. Go
you just fuck off. My priority on an African hunt is it adequate? Like, is performance of the optic adequate? But is it very durable? And Loopold is going to be.
Yeah, you're proper fucked if something goes wrong.
You're
there.
fucked. You're
Yeah.
fucked. So if you have a scope that has adequate optics, which Loopold is beyond adequate, it's not the best. It's not going to be a Swarovski. It's not going to be a Collis in terms of light transmission and clarity, but it will beat both of them in durability, and it's lighter. And so I need adequate and durability.
Lightweight, man.
Dude, it is the scope, 100%.
Because-
It's more feature friendly too, specifically like on the exactness of the CDS dials, that Danny was using and that
I think it was
you
on
had.
point.
Did you have
So
them
nice.
engrave one for you and send you
On the Model
turret?
70, yeah, for the
Yeah.
270, 130 grain ballistic silver tip, and it was
Well, maybe
on-
that's what we need to do because
dialed in.
I mean, several of us shot okay, but did
It was-
you make more than one shot per animal on anything?
I shot the wildebeest twice. I fired 2 rounds with that, but
It's a
but
big
it,
animal.
It went
Tough
down with
animal.
one, but it was still kicking, and so I put a
Here's-
second one in it. That was
Did-
different. but
okay.
it
Did
would've
you
died
ever
with one.
track an animal in Africa?
No,
The answer is no.
I don't think
The
so.
answer is no.
Not more than 50 yards, we'll say.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of them dropped.
Okay,
two
rookie.
ran 50 yards.
that's not tracking.
Yeah.
That blessed book. That blessed
Yeah.
book didn't.
The blessed buck at 360, he dropped. The
I mean,
Impala
50
at
yards. If I can
424.
throw a football that far, it's
I
not
mean the one from the last day.
The Impala, yeah, and this is a 73-year-old rifle.
The one
And
you- the one you
the,
domed.
the Impala
So-
still had grass in its mouth when I went up
so-
and grabbed it. Like, I mean, he was still eating. You know what I mean? He was,
Okay, we're
he
gonna-
dropped hard.
Hey, we're gonna get to that, and it's in here, so I'll skip it. But let's go ahead. I mean, I've had a couple bourbons. I'm ready to cry. So,
Here we go.
Oh, jeez,
oh god,
dude.
no, I'm gonna do it. All
There
right.
we go.
Should we take another question before we do this and prepare?
Let's do it.
One more.
All right. Oh god, what a great story.
I'll fucking leave before I cry on
No,
this
you won't.
podcast.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Actually,
won't.
You guys are bitches.
Stay right there.
You
All
stay.
right, from the guy who's
I will
crying
leave
before
you
even
in.
I
started.
know, I'm crying right now just thinking about it, man. I don't know. Like I don't have family, so to me it's all right. So boots, footwear for Africa
Courtney.
is interesting. Courtney, oh, those leather things, yeah.
I wore the what were they? The Renegades.
Oh yeah,
Lowes, yeah,
the
Croc.
Loa Renegade GTX.
Croc has Renegades.
No,
That's the strap on
something
the back.
different.
Loa Renegade GTX, one of the best boots ever made.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
A little
what
warm.
company?
Loa, Lowa,
Oh,
Renegade
Loa. I know that one.
GTX.
Yeah.
I have put on that continent. I've put hundreds of miles on them. Ray wore them. I didn't this time. Man, I was jealous when I saw him.
I
How,
probably-
how much are those boots approximately?
I think they're like
Couple hundred
$200.
$250
Okay.
bucks.
I put 100
found it for
miles on them.
130.
So for a trip to Africa, that's free, basically.
I put 100 miles on them before Africa and 100 miles on them, I don't know, probably since then. And they're still very comfortable.
Is that what you would take back?
100%.
Okay. What about you? What'd you
I
have?
had the same boots too. Yeah, no issues.
Of course
Yeah,
you
they,
did.
they were great.
Of course you did. All right, Mr. Murphy.
I had a set of dinner boots.
Different color.
They're all
Relax.
right. You know, like you need a set of footwear good. I think if you put 2 more hunts on them, they'd blow out though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well made, but
Yeah, Danner's
that,
good.
that territory's hard on you. Yeah,
It,
Very.
it
they,
was
they perform
tough.
well though. Yeah, I like Danner's products
know
in general. We use them in the Marine Corps. So, I mean, like they're good products,
Yeah.
And for the price, you're not really gonna.
They
beat
are
that.
heavy.
Yeah, a little heavy. These were actually really light. Some
I
new
use
lineup.
They
They were kind of like wearing sneakers, tennis shoes. So
Okay.
they weren't bad. But I trust their quality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and when you get in some of the wet mountain environments, like when it rained, it only takes 5 minutes of rain. That hillside turns to just an ice skating rink. Yeah, stuff cakes up in your boots there, slide them down these hills. That's what matters to me. Otherwise, walking flat ground is easy.
Yeah, I think comfortable, lightweight, durable. What about
waterproof?
You said the Courtney's?
I like them. They're just tough boots and they have great grip.
Fancy. They're probably $1,000.
No, they're
But they're beautiful. Honestly, I mean,
They're $350.
as you warm, they
Oh,
got
nice.
more beautiful.
Even after Gabe scratched
I
it.
would say
they'll
that
probably last a long time.
That boot that Ray wore, the Loa Renegade GTX. I've hunted more in that boot than any other boot. And
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite boot out there as far as like just comfortable, lightweight, keep your feet dry. The ultimate do-it-all hunting boot, Loa Renegade GTX.
The Courtney's when it's dry.
Well,
Courtney, just
when-
for durability
and
and
when it's wet.
dry weather, yeah.
Yeah.
so I want to
'Cause
give
they
a
get
shout out. Okay, don't make me cut fucking mics up in here. So I want to give a shout out to Tactical Distributors. They hooked me up with the Ultima boot, which is cheap and expensive. But I had been during this time of year, and I'm a fat, miserable bastard. Do not want to be hot. And they have they sent me the Ultima, the Maritime boot.
Yeah, the
It's
Maritime
only like
assault boot.
$75, and if you use Unpossible 15, you get 15% off.
Is that the pair of boots that you gave me while we were there? You gave me a pair of them?
Don't say like I gave it to you like I didn't
No,
want
you
them.
had
I
two
had a
pairs.
spare,
You had two
and I get-
pairs.
yes.
No, it's because you guys are best friends after sharing all those bonding memories.
Yeah, we don't sleep in the same bed. But
But he had two pairs of them. I was complimenting his
dating?
boots. My Courtney's got wet, and Kevin was like, "Dude, I have an extra pair of these boots," and he gave me a pair, and I wore them, and they were awesome.
with that being said, this was like the second, third day of the hunt, and
Where's the bourbon? Can you guys bring that over here, one of y'all?
oh Jesus!
I actually just want to see you
Wait.
walk over there.
Oh, I want to finish the goddamn story, then we take a break. So,
Yeah.
um,
I'll pour yourself something.
Keep talking. I'm
so
sorry
anyway,
about your boots.
I
They're
got,
awesome.
I got the boots. My feet didn't get hot. They were great. Mine lasted the entire hunt in terrible terrain. Lightweight, and I could still skateboard in them.
Yeah, flat.
Oh,
flat
they're
sole.
awesome. I liked them, and I thought
Super
my feet were going to
comfortable.
hurt. They weren't going to be comfortable or something in the terrain, and they were great. And they were only $75.
Thank
And I tell you what, when I go back in August, same boots
I'm
I'm
wearing a
taking.
set right now. Shit.
Oh, you
So,
are?
like, was there-
Mike, can I give
How
you
were
a
your
pour?
socks at the end of the day though? Like, were they soaking wet or were they drying out as you were
No,
hiking?
because my man Ron Dan at Vertex, he sent me their merino wool blend. There's also a blend, some synthetic something in there. The only socks I wear. And they sent me like 20 pairs, and I'm kind of a stingy bastard, so I only gave like 8 pairs away at the office. And everyone loves them. I gave them 1 pair, but I've got like 12 pairs. And that's what I took.
Nice.
No, my feet. And they have a rubber insole in the Ultimate, which a lot of people don't like initially. But what I found with that, especially in this terrain, God bless you.
Thank you.
What I found and why I like that, which it's weird to get used to because it's sticky, your socks do not slip while
Right,
you're hiking.
correct.
And that was awesome. So
Yeah.
just take the time, get used to it. And if you still need more arch support, whatever, change the insoles. But if you don't have to, they were great. And you can wash them out. I don't know. I don't really have stinky feet anyway. But the boots, I'm really impressed with them.
No, they're nice.
And yeah. So
And the
shout out
sharp
to
looking.
the strip. Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
especially for that price too.
Yeah, for the money too.
Yeah.
How much are they?
They're 75 retail, and if you use Unpossible 15, you get 15% off. So like I don't know what
Is that Tactical
what is that?
Distributors?
TacticalDistributors.com. Our buddy Todd Askins.
Listen to Ray just
the-
helping the plug.
the
Just
ma-
pushing the plug along.
Always.
the manliest dude we know.
Uncle
Those
Todd.
pictures of him like spearfishing yesterday.
Legit.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
what kind of fish was that?
African pompano.
That's right.
That is what
Who
he
was
was
this?
doing.
Yeah.
Was he in Africa?
No, he was
Who
not.
is this?
They just
The
sent
Gulf
him
Stream,
all the way
man.
over
They
here.
swim
Yeah.
all over the place.
Todd Askins,
Big ocean.
stud.
They don't know where they're at.
So he's one of the owners of Tactical Distributors. He came here, did the podcast. He lives in Virginia Beach, but he and his buddy spearfish. And my man Todd, he takes care of himself. He's
Yes, he
very
does.
fit. So he spearfishes it like, I don't know, fucking 200 feet.
Deeper.
Yeah, I'll show you the pictures. The fish were like the size of him.
It,
Oh,
it
wow.
was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous, and I felt like such a wuss when I saw it. And they're in the ocean. It's
Yeah,
like,
and the waves were on.
it was like stormy.
Did it make you want to do it?
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
make me
that's
wanna
awesome.
do it.
We should do a spearfishing trip. That should be the next thing we do.
Oh, I don't
Who
think
can
I
hold
could
their breath
handle
the
the
longest?
squeals.
We've got a lobster mini season coming up in the Keys
Nice.
that we're doing. So you guys are right down
I
there.
can do that. God, even in the shape I'm in, I can dive 20 feet and
Yeah.
grab a lobster. Big whoop. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Average 8
All
feet
right.
down there. I mean, it's shallow.
Hell yeah.
All right. So, anyone toasting to this one? Am I toasting? What are we doing?
Here, I'll do
Lots
one.
of same.
Or
Oh,
Dave do
Go
one.
for it.
Oh, or I could do it. I don't know that you should toast anybody.
He's like, oh, or I could.
Yeah.
All my bad ideas come when I've had one too many.
Okay,
Oh
so
boy!
let's just
Oh boy!
No.
Yeah.
wait. Let's hear it because then I might veto it. And
You cheers.
I've got one.
Actually, I think Ray needs this one.
I was gonna say like veto power always belongs to Kevin. So here's what I'll say. Cheers to good friends. Cheers to good family. And cheers to you guys because you guys are the best of both.
Oh. Okay. Well, hold up. And for what we're about to get into, thank you, Danny's dad, for making this wonderful son.
100%. Thanks for looking out for us.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you. You
Wonderful.
you really aced that, Ray. I didn't think. I didn't,
You did.
honestly, I didn't know where that was going to go.
That's actually my courtroom technique. Is I appear to be a little too drunk for court.
So I've had a
And-
few Chardonnays. What of it?
What does it matter? And then I surprise everybody.
Higher.
Oh, what a wonderful fucking day. All right.
Was that Big Daddy over there?
I just
Yes, it is. Big Daddy, the drunk on the witness stand. He says, "So I've had a few Chardonnays. What of it?"
No better story. And I've done.
Here we go. Here we go.
Let's say I've done 150 trials,
He
and that might be that's a ballpark number. Say I've done 150 trials. I've seen
me too.
I've seen probably 300 witnesses, and I'm just throwing out a number which seems accurate. No better witness story I've ever seen in movies or TV than Kevin's own story, which is probably not
The
something.
booger?
The booger is literally the best story, and I've now shared it with people preparing for trial.
Okay,
It's a
so
great story.
for my brethren who
Appreciates.
getting set up or fucked by the man, and you're going to be cross-examined. Let me give you a piece of advice. So, generally, and probably criminal, but definitely a civil trial, if you're in the right, when you're cross-examined, opposing counsel is going to try to get you to attack them, lose your shit in court,
Get under
call
your
them
skin.
names, threaten them. They're dirtbags. You're dirtbags. You know who you are.
We do.
And so I used a little technique called the booger. Because, I've been set up a couple times. And so had this one. And this case was millions of dollars. And something more important, it involved my children. And so the guy, he's a total, extremely wealthy, successful, stereotypical asshole fucking attorney that you give him $50,000 cash for a retainer, and then he charges you $1,000 an hour. And so I'm on the stand, and I've been there a couple times. Anyway, he's trying to get under my skin, and so he's crossing a couple lines, but in court, because the judge is an attorney and it's okay. But you say something, you're like crazy, and so he's like, "Excuse me, do you have something to say, Mr. Brigham? You're the mama out of your breath." He's like, "Excuse," and he gets really close. He's like, "You want to say that? The court can hear you." And I said, "Yeah. You got a booger." And he lost his shit. He almost did a backflip, almost fell down, jerking away from me to go wipe his nose and blow his nose and everything. And it was, so then it just
love
screwed
that.
his whole rhythm up.
amazing.
He's like got his script written out about how, this one time I did this thing, I failed, whatever, science in the third grade. It's like bringing up everything he can imagine, calling your mom names, but you got to stay cool. You get them close to you, and you're like, I was like, I'm trying to help you out. I didn't want to say it aloud. You got a booger. And that was it. I won.
Game over.
Game over.
Hold on, but did you plan this out ahead of time just in case you had to?
No.
pull it out of your back
Hold on.
pocket?
He was
You know what I mean?
truthfully speaking. He was under oath, and
Yeah.
it was exactly as it sounds.
Put him on your team.
Who's asking?
Put him on your team today.
This is the rookie numbers. I went through. He's growing up though.
But you see how fast that was, though?
Yeah, he's good.
That was
He's
that was
good.
slick. That was
It's
good.
your best interest at
Thank
heart.
you.
Yeah, so
About to get a
that
phone
proves
call
my,
from me.
my man's
I
been
feel
there.
like we're going to learn a lot about Ray in this portion of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Hopefully not.
All right, so
Not that sensitive.
This trip, Danny's dad's rifle story.
Oh,
Good
boy.
Lord, we're gonna all cry.
Oh boy.
All right, so
We'll try not to.
So tell us this, man.
So getting it back a little bit, I was actually talking to my grandfather the other day, who's the one that actually originally bought the rifle. So in 1958, my pa. In 1958, he owned an Italian restaurant in Bakersfield, California, and it was actually a super successful restaurant. NFL players, movie stars, everybody would come through, and they would just kind of breeze through, have their quiet little dinner, and move on, and they would show up. They had the regular schedule. Yeah. So it was really cool. He had a very successful thing going on. This guy comes in, and he's carrying this rifle in his hand. He said, he's like,
into a rrestaurant.
In the restaurant, which
This
is 1958. It was
California.
whatever. And he said, it turned out he was actually went to high school with my grandfather. He comes in and he's like, Art, he's like, I got a problem. He's like, I need to pay my electric bill, and he's like, I need $100. He's like, I've got this rifle. He's like, would you give me $100 for it so I can pay my electric bill? And then he's like, when I get the money back, I'll give you $100 back for it. Be like a pawn. And he's like, sure, no problem. Yeah, that's fine. And I mean, this is absolutely beautiful rifle. And at that point,
I've never heard this part
8 years old or something. Yeah, I actually just learned it the other day because I tried to get a little bit of background on where exactly, because over the years you hear this, you hear that, but you never really get the true story. So I asked him, and so he got the rifle. Never saw the guy again. He went to high school with this guy. He knew him well.
I got a Rolex the same way, $500 long.
$100. And right now, I don't know, Jason probably knows what the Model 70, the pre-64s go for in good condition.
That's
not a cheap rifle.
$300 for it.
That's
Negative.
See? That's profit.
Yours is, I don't know, $1,700.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So $100, yeah. I mean, pretty good investment there. Yeah. So either way, so he gets the rifle and he hunts with it quite a bit.
Your granddad does.
My grandfather, yeah. And then by the time my dad was old enough to hunt, my grandfather got another 270 from a pawn shop for himself, gave that one to my dad, and so that's what he had. So I want to say the rifle was like 8 years old, somewhere around there at the time he bought it, and he's had it ever since. So that was the rifle that my dad hunted with his entire life.
So 1950, this rifle was built.
Like 48, I believe. If you check the serial number.
I believe it was a transition gun.
Yeah, it's in 1948. Based on Winchester's website, and you track the serial number, that's the number that I came up with. Yeah. So it's a 270, and he hunted with it his whole life. That was the only rifle that I ever saw him carry in the woods, and he pulled the trigger basically once a year, killed one deer, and he was good with that,
Yeah.
And that's basically the backstory on that.
So you called me though about this gun, and asked me if it was enough gun.
Yeah. So my dad, he passed away in 2016, and suddenly just a heart attack, and I hunted with him my whole life.
So your granddad gives this rifle to your dad when he's young enough to hunt.
Yeah.
He has you.
Yep.
Raises you.
Takes you hunting.
Takes you hunting.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
his rifle.
Like when I first went hunting with him, that was the rifle that he put in front of me. So I mean, I was 270 is pretty big for a kid starting out. And it's but it's what we had. So yeah, that was the first animals I took was with that rifle too. I mean, it was. I didn't like pulling the trigger on it. I'll tell you that. When I was a kid, that thing terrified me. Steel butt plate, it kicked. But either way, so since then I never touched it. It's just kind of sat in the safe. Didn't hunt with it. Didn't do anything. Well, the one animal he never got a chance to hunt Africa, and the one animal that he always talked about that he would actually cross the pond for and actually go over there and hunt was the Cape Kudu. That was like the one thing that he really wanted.
Like every hunting trip.
Yeah, my grandfather had one in his garage in Tennessee. The original owner of the house left it there in the garage, so we had a Cape Kudu skull in the garage. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. Like as a kid, I grew up like, what is that thing? With the big spiral horns on it. So
it's one of the most beautiful.
Yeah, so it was just kind of one of those things like I always saw and knew of, but I never knew what one looked like. I knew what a skull and horns looked like.
It's like the stereotypical African plains animal, the most beautiful horns.
Yeah, and so I'm sure that had kind of a part of my dad too, like wanting to get one, but he never got the chance to go over there and hunt one himself. And when the opportunity came to hook up with Field Ethos and y'all and go over to Africa, and the fact that was one of the animals to get, I just thought that would be super cool to bring that rifle and go over there and use that and kind of cross one off the list.
Which is so random because before you contacted us about the Africa hunt, before I ever even put the invite out there, I'd put a lot of stuff out there about my love of the pre-64.
Yeah, and that's kind of I knew that. And that's kind of why I was like, you know what, this might resonate with him a little bit, even if the backstory doesn't. Like, he might at least believe in the rifle enough to, because the way I looked at it is 270 was on the light end of the spectrum as far as big game in Africa because I consider kudu to be pretty big game. I mean, it's
Yeah, it is.
700-pound animal. That's a hefty animal.
It's a big animal.
Oh, it's a huge animal.
You know,
it's
so-
like a horse with real pretty horns.
For sure, yeah. And everything over there is tougher. So even if people say, "Oh, I've shot elk with 270," well, you didn't shoot a kudu. You know, like I just think of kudu as being even tougher. So I asked him, and I was like, "Listen, like this is my idea." And granted, we haven't met at this time. You know, this is just over the phone. Like, hey, this is what I got going on. This is my idea. Am I crazy or is this cool? And he's like, no. He's like, it is on the low end of the spectrum, but it is definitely doable. And then he recommended putting the higher magnification optic on there just because the chance of reaching out. But he's like, no, like shot placement's everything. If you can shoot it, it'll do it. So I figured, all right, let's give this thing a shot.
Which I thought was infinitely cool because, for a long time I've been preaching the pre-64 Winchester. I just think they're fantastic guns made by true Americans and just a piece of Americana.
Yeah.
And
it
so
totally is.
this guy that I haven't ever met before, when we put out that we were going to go to Africa, he's like, man, I want to come and I want to bring, my dad passed away. I want to bring his pre-64 270. And I'm like, dude, this guy sounds like we would be friends just anyway. You know what I mean? Like, just regardless, it sounds like we would be friends. And so, yeah, I said, pick the right bullet, 130 grain. I said, don't even do the 150.
Yep.
Pick the 130 grain, something that it really groups tight and it'll do the job. And I'll be honest, what you did with that rifle over there, and you'll get into that from here on, but what you did with that rifle over there was like legendary.
Phenomenal.
Let me tell you,
Legendary.
Great white hunter level.
Like straight up legendary. That was racist what you just said. but
Yeah, what the fuck? man?
yeah, seriously, right?
It,
But the truth is like you really you took your dad's rifle, and not only did you take your dad's rifle and be successful with it, like you made people a believer in that rifle and that caliber. It was incredible.
I mean, it was awesome. I mean, to me, this is like the brilliant part of adventure.
Yeah.
Like we all are going to go. We know what we're going to do. We're going to have this fun. And then like one of the great stories of this entire trip is this deal with your dad and his gun.
yeah, it worked out. It worked out really well. I didn't think that it would work out quite that well, but it.
Let's talk about
It was pretty awesome.
Let's get specific then.
Yeah. What the hell
yeah,
did you
so-
do? Let's
so-
hear it.
Let's hear the
you shoot
stats.
anything?
The stats on the
Yeah.
270.
Yeah. So
Incredible stats.
Yeah. So before this hunt, as far as at an animal was concerned, to my knowledge, that rifle hadn't been fired at anything further away than maybe 120 yards. Was
Yep.
probably the furthest away that my dad ever shot anything at. 'Cause
East
this-
Coast hunting.
East Coast hunting. We just don't reach out, So talking to Jason, he's like, if you can be confident out to 500, you're going to really increase your chances to kudu because that is not an easy animal to hunt. So I threw the VX6 HD off my Bergara on there with the CDS. I got one of those made because I never actually turned in the dial when I bought the scope, because didn't need it with the 6.5. I was dead on with the Bergara. Like,
Not in Florida.
didn't seem necessary. So it ended up being great. I had that in the can, sent it out. They came back within 2 weeks, good to go. So like maybe 2 weeks before the trip, I went out to a 1,000-yard range and I was shooting it out to 500 really confidently. Like I was ringing like a 12-inch steel going out to 500, no problem, just dialing. So I was
based on the shooting. He was confident.
yeah. I was confident.
He's a
like,
Marine. He's a Marine, so he understands the fundamentals of marksmanship.
Yeah. So prior
Not
to
like
this,
the Air Force.
but even hey,
Jay, I don't appreciate
hold it
what he
against
just
you.
did to you.
Well, it's
I mean,
accurate.
even in the Marines,
Go blue.
we shot out to 600. Was like the furthest I actually engaged a target with an actual precision rifle in the Marines.
So 600 yard shooting.
But
they fly drones every day. Got it.
UAVs. Yep.
Air Force does that too, but
So, but either way, before the trip, I was confident to 500 with that rifle. Like I was like, this thing's actually a shooter. Like I'd never reached it out like that. Once we got there, I started with the fix. I dropped the first two animals with that, and we went to the second area, and I started using the Model 70. And I got the fallow deer was at 250 the first evening there, dropped it, and I was like, all right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, first night we were there.
Yeah, so it kind of bumped up the confidence.
Did
a bit.
anyone scream at you in your ear right before you shot the fallow deer?
Nope.
Okay.
It was a
Or did they
very
scream at the
slow
animal?
roll hunt.
That
It
makes a
was not
difference.
nearly- yeah.
That
I
does
think
make a
Danny
difference.
I had
screaming
time.
at me mentally, like, don't come any closer. You're going to blow this hunt.
I had time. Yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly as pressured as Kevin's fallow.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
And then the second animal was the next day,
So what was the range on the first one?
like 250.
250.
It was
50 to
an
80.
estimated
Yep.
250 because we didn't have the range fight at that time. The next day, I had his binos.
Single shot kill, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
He kind of I hit him. His legs locked out, and he started like doing like the boat rocking, like he
Yep.
was in the waves.
Yep.
And then he just kind of laid down and went to sleep. Like he didn't fall hard. He just went down.
Yep.
Like it was the coolest thing to see. And then the next day, we had just gotten our truck stuck. We slid into a fence post, got hung up, had to have like 10 farmers come over and push the Hilux off.
Dented his truck.
Yeah, he
a little
jacked
bit
it
more
up
than
hard.
a dent.
While it's stuck, Ray and I just go for a walk, and we're just sitting on termite mounds, and I'm about to take like a 600-yard shot on this blessed buck just because I'm frustrated.
It was
I'm
like
just like,
800.
I'm gonna send it. And Sean like walks halfway away, and then he hears me say like, I'm gonna shoot, and then he turns around and comes back, and he's like, what are you shooting? And he's like, maybe wait, like, well, let's get this figured out first. It's like too many things you want at once. So immediately after that, we get the truck unstuck, and we see 3 Impala at like 424 yards because we actually had an accurate range on them. And I was able to lay prone on a termite mound and put one at 424 right into its neck, and he was lights out.
Single shot kill.
Single shot kill, 424.
That's a poke, man. 424. That's no joke.
Yeah, with a 73-year-old rifle, it was pretty awesome.
That
yeah.
wood stock.
Yeah. It was very cool. When I watched the drop, I was like, all right, maybe this thing's like, all right, this thing's capable. Like now, my confidence is kind of like, all right, now let's go get this. So after that, we got the blessed buck at 360. Murph was with me on that one. Dropped that one.
Single shot kill.
Single shot, 360. He fell right over the hill. He went
Knocked
actually,
him off a cliff.
He actually went hoofs
big
up.
deal.
And at that moment, my PH looked at me and he's like, that thing's the lightning bolt. And I was like, what? And he goes, that rifle. He's like, that's the lightning bolt. He's like, I've never seen animals here fall like that. He's like, especially, he's like, what caliber is that? Like he kept asking me. He's like, it's 270. Like what? Like because everybody shows up with 300 Win Mag plus, and they're shooting them 2-3 times. And these things are just literally it's death, like long range death. They're just falling over. So it was very cool. Like I was feeling pretty good about it. But again, the whole thing was I wanted the kudu, and for days, for over a week, Ray and I are hunting this thing night and day, all day long, trying to find one. He gets a shot on one, and it kept dragging on throughout the week, and it comes up before we knew our flight was canceled. This was our last evening, last hunt. It needs to happen right now.
I was so excited our flight was canceled.
It
It ended up working out.
Yeah, that was
a
awesome.
stressful moment turned into
Another
a blessing
couple days
for
of
sure.
hunting.
Not stressful for me at all.
No, me neither. I was like, dude, let's hunt for a few more days and enjoy this.
I got to know where I got to be.
Yeah,
I
Ray's
heard
like,
that
I
you
got
missed
trial.
somebody. I don't know.
I did.
You were gonna, you.
Well, I'd just bring her over. That's
That's what.
That's what you
I'll
kept
just fly
saying.
her over.
but,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, I did miss her. I don't like. Yeah.
Anyway, so last day.
But yeah, so last day, and I'm feeling pretty confident about the kudu, and I've pretty much checked everything off the list, the wildebeest, everything. And the kudu was like the last thing to get, and it was like the one thing that I was like,
Of course.
that's what I came here for.
Always
Like
the
that's
one
what
thing.
And so, the day's kind of dragging on, and it's not really happening. We know they're
I
around, but
know
we can't really
we
find
were
them.
all pumped for you, talking behind your back, like, oh my god, my man's got to get a kudu.
Like
What's
it
going
has
on?
to happen, right? So Ray ends up actually splitting up with me that day because for 2 people to look for 2 kudu at one time together is very difficult. It's way easier to split up and divide and conquer.
Yeah, the math works.
So we tried to get it together at the same time. It didn't work out. So he ended up branching off with a different PH, and I went with Sean. And Andrew Pringle was actually the owner. He was actually coming down the highway from town, and he saw a bunch of kudu in a field. He drives up to us. He's like, listen, I just saw a bunch down here. We got to glass them up and try to put a stock on. So long story short, we end up trying to get a stock on. As soon as we're leaving, Andrew turns around. He's the last one through the gate with his truck. Turns around to lock the gate, and he sees a kudu bull running up the hill behind us. So he's whistling at us, and he's yelling at us to come back. So we're like, what in the world?
Well, wait. With that being said, the gate, so it's cattle and sheep, so it's a low fence, so a kudu steps over. So this is free.
Yeah.
range.
It's
not-
It's it was like the only.
This is Africa. A field mouse can jump over a cattle fence. In Africa.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
Facts.
there's no high fences.
No,
It's just
no.
it's just
It's
the
free
only thing there
range.
was sheep.
Like
yeah.
everything can jump over.
Yeah. So
a
yeah,
cattle
for the kudu,
fence.
it's absolutely nothing. Yeah, it'll keep a sheep in, but yeah, the kudu, giraffe, all that, they just walk right over the thing. So he's locking up the cattle gate, and he starts whistling. Our tracker, we hear that on the roof, and we're like, all right, what the hell, dude? Like we're trying to make a move on these things. What do you see? Like this better be good because light's fading. You know, it's like we got 30 minutes before dark. And we turn around, and Andrew's over there, and he's just losing his mind. He's waving us back. He's like, come back, come back. So we pile out of the truck. We run back there, and he's trying to point at this kudu that's running up the hill. So I actually, like, all the whole time I was there, I wanted to, like, spot and stalk and all this, you know, and it's coming down to the wire. And then I end up, you know, off the roof of his Land Cruiser, you know, I end up, like, putting the bipod out, like, there it is. So he ends up about to crest the hill, turns broadside and looks back at me. And PH laces him 252, dial up with him, get on him, fire one, and he ran like 50 yards downhill and piled up right there.
So awesome.
So yeah, we had enough
time of
light
the
to
day
take
was that?
pictures. It was 30 minutes before dark.
So 5:30 roughly.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, simultaneously, like 2 miles away, Ray was getting his kudu too at the same time, which was also super cool.
With my man Murph.
Yeah. So the whole time, you know, so I'm on cloud nine. Like, I got it done. This is awesome.
Monster
And
kudu too.
It was
stud.
a beautiful,
Both were studs.
beautiful kudu.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Ray's was super weird looking, like in a cool way.
Like
Was yours
Ray.
the one where
No. Like Ray's was like a super hourglass.
It was a figure eight, yeah.
I mean,
They
it was
almost
just
touched in the
so
middle.
cool
And then
looking.
came
Yeah,
looking at-
that's what I
I
want.
love like just those old charactered bulls
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
Yours was like what you're after for an
His
young
looked like a Harley
Cape kudu.
Davidson that you'd ride all day.
Yeah, I want.
just badass.
Yeah, those genetics. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a beautiful animal. Well, earlier in the day, we heard that he had missed a kudu, and so we're
Recurring theme in Africa.
we're already like, oh my god, like another one. Like that was the first thought. We're like, dude, what is up? Like, what is going on with you, bro?
High-strung.
Thanks,
So now we're
bud.
feeling bad, and Gabe was with us, and he filmed the whole thing, and I can't thank him enough for being there because he caught like such an amazing moment for getting that kudu
miss you,
with that
Gabe.
rifle at that moment. Like it was so cool.
Rest in peace.
Love you, Gabe.
So, love you, Gabe. So
Yeah.
we're leaving the property, and he's kind of trying to talk me down. He's like, he's in the back seat, and he's like, Danny, you know, I know like you're really happy right now, and it is super cool what you just did. Like it's awesome. But when we get back to camp, you know, if Ray missed that kudu, like you got to try
Again.
to calm it down a little bit, you know, because
Yeah.
like that's gonna be
Play
hard
it
for him.
down a little.
And so, and I'm like, dude, I was like, you're right, like 100%, you're right. So we meet up at the
Don't let him
the
steal your
skinning shed.
sunshine.
But,
That's his problem.
but at the same time, I was like, no, you're right. Like I don't want to like rub it in his face, you know. So we get back to the
Listen.
skinning shed. Listen, it was a big deal for him to kill one too, you
Yeah.
know, and like with the whole thing that went through all week with his
Bad
fiascos.
luck.
Yeah. So we get to the skinning shed, and he doesn't want to tell me that he got one because he doesn't know, and I don't want to tell him that I got one because he doesn't know, you know. And so I'm like, and then like at the same moment we're like, wow, we can't hold it anymore. Like, dude, I got one. He's like, bro, I got one too. And then we're like, oh, shit. You know, it was just the coolest moment. We're like the last minute of the last
I
day.
mean, it's so cool
we made
for
it
both
happen.
you guys and the
Yeah.
story with your dad.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, what you're referring to, you keep little John in him, is that
What time?
so,
What time?
You put a shot on one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a very good one.
It wasn't
Apparently.
a good shot.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Found a lot of blood.
Thought it
felt
was a good
good about
shot,
it.
but crossed a boundary, and that was it earlier in the week. So it kind of because I mean, yeah, it is terrible. It's never fun if you.
No. But it does happen.
Well, and here's what I'll say. So
Just the little John thing's killing me.
okay.
Your fucking pip.
What time? What time was it?
Well,
But
so
you know another part. Wait,
Go ahead.
God damn it, Ray.
sorry.
Another part of the story, though. So your P8, Sean, young fella, he lost his dad unexpectedly too, huh?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tear
It was-
jerking video. I
Dude,
ain't watching that field.
you
He's so
serious?
So
So-
screw
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, it was- it
Gabe,
was
and
kind
I
of a-
will say, like, Gabe captured to me. When you run up to that kudu and you give Andrew this big hug, like there's that awkward confusion of whether it's going to be a high five or a hug, and you come in for the real thing.
Yeah.
And like everyone turns around and like, I hate hunting shows. I hate them.
Yeah.
And I hate the setup of when they walk up to the animal.
Yeah.
But this was just like super genuine. You freaking out. You run up. You give Andrew this huge hug. And it's like, to me, it's hard to watch, dude.
Yeah.
Like, Jess
Yeah,
Jess watched it and she's like, is he crying? I was like,
Yeah.
Jess, I don't know if he's
was,
crying or
yeah.
not. You're not even supposed to be watching this. Mind your own business. Like,
That's because Jason was crying. He couldn't see shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
hadn't
know,
seen it
Jesse.
till this morning,
Yeah.
and I couldn't finish watching it.
You're tearing up right now.
I am.
No,
Dude,
no,
you're tearing up
was,
right now.
It was real.
So it was like, it was one of those things that like, the story in and of itself, like when you told me about you bringing your dad's rifle over and doing this stuff, it was like, it catches you in the feels big time, right? And then you want it to, and then you want it to go good, and it did. Like you just absolutely like rock starred it with your dad's rifle, and then the kudu was the one thing that you wanted.
I
And it
know.
was
So
like-
the whole time we're like, "Oh shit, what
it
is
didn't-
going on?
like,
Why aren't
honestly,
they finding any kudu?"
It got down to the wire, and
I
we
know,
didn't know
we're
if you were
all-
going to get it, dude.
By this point, I believe Kevin had shot 3. So, he's like, dude, they're
Yeah.
everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
grow up. Like,
But remember,
unicorn?
What do you mean you can't
find one?
Danny,
I tripped on one when I left the house today.
there was a lot of talk in our truck about like, dude, man, Danny has to get this kudu. Like, everybody was rooting you on for
Yeah.
it. Like, it was a big deal to everybody on the trip.
Yeah, we were
And
so worried it wouldn't happen.
And when you
So-
got it, it was like it was emotional for all of us. But it was like, man, it was the perfect end to a trip.
But isn't that like that's what hunting is about?
Yeah.
You know?
hunting, I mean, to me, just any adventure, but certainly hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody being there for
you-
everybody else too. Like even when Gabe shot his, like I killed mine, Gabe killed his, and then we I kid you not, we celebrated, took pictures, put them in the truck, and we're like, all right, Danny's got to get his. Like,
your video.
we
when you
didn't come
got-
back and say anything. It was like, hey, Danny's got to get his.
When you got that in Yala though, it was your first big animal
Yeah, it was
with
a
a
big
rifle,
deal.
and you can see it in your face too. You're like it's a moment
Yeah.
that you can't replicate. Like,
But
you
even then,
will only
dude,
get
when we
that.
got back to the bar at the end of the day, it wasn't just us saying, "Hey, Danny, hopefully get yours tomorrow." That wasn't just at the bar. This was like conversations in their truck, conversations in
Yeah,
our truck.
what do we
So
do
when,
to
like,
make sure we
how do
got
we get
on
Danny his
one?
kudu?
How
Like
can
we
we
were like,
help?
"Hey, tell them to look here. Tell them to look here."
Yeah, without
Wow.
saying it, because
Yeah,
you're
it
going
was
to
a-
feel bad and not
Yeah.
want us
Yeah,
to do
we
that.
wanted-
When Mike, like, when it was, he really wanted a zebra. That was like super high on his list. It's a fun animal to hunt, great animal to eat in camp. It was high on his list, and like he told me before we went over, that was one thing he really wanted to do. I got to be with him when he did it, and when we found his zebra,
Oh, we cheered from the top of the mountain. We
he
saw
looked
it
at
fall,
me-
and you guys didn't know.
dude, Mike looked at me and he's like, dude, I just want to say thank you so much. And we looked at each other, made eye contact, and I was like, leave me alone, Mike. Like, and it was emotional, man.
It was
And
a
like,
big thing, and it wasn't just the animal; it was everything.
it was
like
a
you.
big
it was,
thing. It was like-
me going over there, my job, the job that I'm in, trying to prove
Yeah.
my worth. The
Yeah.
fact that I don't, you don't see me in this industry a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like that. It was a lot of stuff. So there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on, man. But everybody's cheering everybody on is a big deal. It wasn't just guys going to shoot shit and hang out.
when you get a bunch
know?
of dudes in a camp and everybody, I won't call them agendas. It's not an agenda. It is everyone has their idea of what they hope their safari will be like. And it's not an agenda. It's just like they have their dream of what it would be like because they've thought about it a million times. They didn't know if they were ever even going to make it happen.
Dude, go.
So it's a big deal.
Just go with an open mind and a positive attitude.
Yeah, you
Well,
go with an
that's
open
it.
mind, but it's like
Don't-
it's a huge deal for people because most people dream about this and don't. Make
And
it
you
happen.
should. You should dream about it. You should do it. You shouldn't wait until you're
You
old.
shouldn't.
But you shouldn't have
wait
unrealistic
till
expectations.
you can
No,
afford
but
it.
most
I mean,
people,
you should go.
people don't take that leap of faith to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you get into camp with people and it's their first time, and like it's somebody who's like always wanted to do it. Their dad talked about shooting a kudu with this rifle, and that was his dream, and it was so cool. That dream was so cool that it became your dream. Like. That is to me. That is safari hunting. It is something that's like it is not safari hunting. If you call it hunting, to me, that's not doing it justice. It's an adventure. It's a straight up adventure. It's an adventure that like it involves hunting.
Yeah.
But like you go with
100%.
people and it's like their first time going over there, and you just watch them like because I remember my first time going over and it was like. I had been dreaming about this since I was a little kid. Like to me, it was
Right.
like this huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
And it never that feeling never
Mutual
goes
of
away.
Omaha.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Seeing those animals, and I'm like, man, I gotta go over there and shoot some shit.
and that's the thing though, like you were just super successful over there with the amount of species you shot. Everybody,
but
got
like
tons of animals, but you
realistically,
still want to
did
go
you-
back. You'd
did
go
you
you'd go
feel
back as
like-
soon as you got home. You'd turn around.
Dude,
and go back.
Did you feel like when you were there? Did you go? I can't believe I'm here.
Every single
Every
day,
day.
multiple times a day. I would stop and like just like you get so involved in the task at hand, and you're like, I need to find this kudu, I need to find this animal, I need to find this. Like we got to do this, we got to do that. But then like I would have to take myself out every now and then and just like pull out the phone, not to text, not to call because they didn't have service. It was take a picture and sit there and like just try to like remember this moment,
Take a
like just
note.
like just look at what I'm looking at, like
Yeah, every
look
morning
at where I am right now.
I woke up
because there's so much to just take in everywhere you look, and it's easy. You kind of go internal a little bit when it's hot and it's a long day and you've been up since 4:30 and you're not seeing any animals, nothing's moving. It's raining now, and then you're just sitting there in the truck waiting for something to move, and you're like, all right, this is stupid.
When I came back from Africa the first time in 2005, January of 2005, somebody was like, "What? Describe Africa?" And I was like, "It's like someone took a filter off of the world, and like you were seeing things without some kind of filter that you've always had, and everything was just like unadulterated, like just an experience without your normal everyday filter on it." Would
Yep.
you guys? Did you feel that way? about it?
100%. And since I've been back from Africa, everybody I work with is like, there's something different about you. And just the way I look at everything. I mean, friendship, you guys, I mean, for me, it's like, other than my wife and my family, the utmost importance to me is making sure like I spend time with Danny, I spend time with you guys. And normally it would be the opposite. Normally I'd be like, I've got to take care of work first.
Yeah.
And it's just been a total shift in perspective.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't think you can wait, man. Before you know it, you like
No,
blink
That's-
and
that is
you
a
get
good
old.
perspective.
That's
on
exactly it. It actually changed, and it's so funny. Like when I was trying to, I in one of the several articles that I might be in the middle of writing for Jason here, because like I went so many different directions with it, I can't like make it into one. One of the things that I was thinking of is when I was trying to justify, because it's a lot of time for this trip. We were gone for like 17, 18 days. That's a long time to be away from family, work, everything. You're gone. You're literally on the other side of the world.
We
And
went
then
longer
money.
than most people go.
We do. You can do it in less time, but I knew it was going to be at least 12. We were going to be gone for at least 2 weeks. Yeah. So, we got extended a bit, but we were going to be gone for a minute. And then the cost, money wise, while it's an incredible value to hunt, if you look at it from that perspective, it's still not a cheap thing to do.
No.
It's not. I'm not saying it's not worth it by any means. It's 100% worth it, but it is a lot of money. So I'm trying to justify it in my own mind, like, all right, this is a lot of time, a lot of money. This is a big thing. So while talking to people and just like explaining, like trying to explain field ethos and Q and like the whole story, and everyone's like, dude, that's a once in a lifetime hunt. That's a once in a lifetime hunt. And like whether I was talking to someone who is a lifetime hunter or someone who had never hunted before or someone had no idea who field ethos or Q or whatever, never met me. I'm at work. I'm like talking with anybody who will listen to me. And I'm like, just, hey, like I got this thing going on and I can't stop thinking about it. Like, what do you think? Like, yeah, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You got to go. So I keep like reeling that around in my mind, like once in a lifetime. And then I'm sitting there in Africa, like this is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, and all we're talking about is going back. The whole time we're there, all we're talking about is going back.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime hunt, a once in a lifetime opportunity, but all we're talking about is next time. And then that got me rolling into
Thrice.
like every hunt is once in a lifetime. There's no like it's kind of hard to talk about.
You
Honestly.
can't replicate it.
Exactly. Even if you're hunting your backyard right here in the same stand you've hunted in every single year for 10 years for the same species of white-tailed deer, and you see the same squirrel every year you're out there, that is still a once-in-a-lifetime hunt because the people that you're with, the memories you share in camp, the meals you eat, the jokes you tell, the things you see, the laughs, like all that stuff, you're never going to get that again. It is going to change next time.
We had a lot of things come together that made it special.
And the people are not forever. Everyone here has hunted with someone that isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every single hunt is once in a lifetime. So I've talked to people since then, and they're like, wow, like, how are you going to hunt deer again after hunting a kudu? Like, how are you going to go back to that? And I was like,
you
because
appreciate that experience the
because
same
every
way.
hunt is once in a lifetime.
That's right.
And
Hey.
if you look at it that way, like, you won't be bored in a deer stand ever again.
Good Lord.
well,
I mean, that's a mic drop.
We got to
right
stop
there.
this. But
I didn't mean to get that deep, but like,
Damn,
that is how
awesome.
heavy that hunt was
so
to me.
a once
It
in a
was
lifetime
a cha-
event.
yeah, it was a life-changing
I
thing.
killed 21 different animals. We were there. So
No big
Jason,
deal.
Seen it.
Seen it.
Jason and I together, just the tandem here was
The man can shoot.
probably like 33, 34, 35 animals.
A bunch of them.
I have killed a lot of animals, but never. Danny shot a fucking cow while we were there. Like a boa, a big cow.
like cattle.
Yes.
So turn this around.
What a story.
What the heck?
I heard it was a
We
bull.
come into
Talk
camp.
about bringing some levity into the
Yeah,
conversation.
we come into camp, last light, and I'm like, it's hanging up, it's black. And I'm like, somebody shot a fucking Cape buffalo without us.
It was
God
legal.
Dang it.
Yeah. So
So what happened?
so
just
after
your
we got
typical just your typical dairy
our
cow.
flight got canceled coming out.
No. It was a bull.
Less than 24 hours notice.
little bit sirloin.
it was,
Just a sirloin.
KLM, Dutch Royal Airlines, decides to email us
fuck those
individually,
guys.
almost like
These fuckers.
yeah, them people, KLM. They
Do you have a KLM pin?
What the?
Always.
Fucking throw that out.
So either way, they decide to tell us our flight's canceled with like 22 hours notice, and we have no rebooking options. Sorry for your luck. Thanks for flying with us.
You guys panicked so much. I
So,
was so happy.
we got shoddy Wi-Fi at best, no cell service. How are we gonna do it? And you guys are over here like, whatever. I'll stay here all day. I don't give a shit. Like,
All month. No,
Like,
not all day.
yeah.
All month. Kevin's
Yeah.
like, I'll just fly everybody here that I care about.
yeah. He's like,
No big
whatever.
deal.
He's like, I'll just bring in people here.
Yeah, it's only
He's like,
two
I'll
people.
keep killing shit.
Easy.
And I'm like,
I mean, like half
I gotta go back to work.
You were talking
I
like
got
half
shit to do.
that.
Like,
I'm not on it.
So-
Kevin and I were making
Jay was on the
long-term-
list.
Kevin and I were making long-term plans.
So-
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
we're trying to get it
You're like,
fired,
whatever, I'll
but
buy
you
a
guys
house.
like
I don't
fuck
give a
it.
shit.
I'm building a lodge over there.
Danny and I
I'm
are trying
like-
Danny and I are trying to keep our jobs, but Kevin's like,
I'm talking to Kevin, and
Murph
I'm
looks
like,
at me, he
Kevin,
goes-
if I cuss Delta out, will that add another 2 weeks onto our trip?
Yeah.
Like,
No, so the next day, the
So-
owner takes me up the mountain to this place he wants to build, like a VIP lodge.
Buffalo.
He's like, you can build a lodge right here. And I'm like, I'm going to start living here for 3 months out of the year. Like, you guys
Yes,
can,
please.
whatever.
I'll take whiskey.
So you don't need.
I haven't made enough bad decisions.
So either way, so our flight gets canceled, and this is just a testament to Andrew Pringle and Crusader. Like, he was so cool about the whole thing. He's like, listen, I don't have any hunters coming in for a few days. He's like, I understand. He's like, stuff happens, and he's so accommodating. And I swear he would be like this for anybody else that showed up. It was not just because Kevin's who he was or Jason's who he is. It was, this is who he is. He's like, hang out as long as you want, shoot some cool animals, drink beer, shoot some one horns, some females, just like hang out, enjoy yourselves. We'll get it worked out. He ended up putting us up in this beach house down in Port Elizabeth. Like, he, above and beyond that, for nothing else, that if you go there, you are going to get hooked up. Like,
Yeah, it cost us no more money, and we got to keep hunting.
it cost us, yeah, he didn't charge us
Yeah,
anymore. And,
what
and
a
like,
great dude.
And no pressure.
he really did. Yeah, he came through in a big way. So,
Wait, what did we miss?
That we
His-
just got Jason's back for about half that story.
And by back, he means
Who's this
rear end.
idiot?
doing a shot with
Which is
Ray.
fine.
Subaru out
Doing
there
a
in the
shot with Ray
driveway.
directly out of the bottle.
that's what we got.
dude, I'm sorry.
Wait, wait, wait.
I
Start
used the
blocking
bottle
the
to.
driveway.
I poured his glass, and then I used the bottle to cheers his glass. I don't know why I thought
Two
you guys
fingers.
could maybe pan the camera to somebody else.
Do you see any panners in
This
here?
is
There's no
not a
goddamn
professional
panners.
organization.
I don't know.
called
I thought,
B-roll.
You're in a fucking onesie. Who are you calling?
I thought there was a chance you guys could have Jay.
From Target. Classy.
So-
I thought there's a chance you
So
guys
either
could
way,
have
sure.
Jay cheers somebody.
Cheers,
the whole,
buggers.
yeah, ended up,
Sorry, guys.
got the opportunity,
I'm not a professional. Go ahead.
got the opportunity to hang out a couple more days, and one of the things we had to do to pay for our extra
secret.
time there, extra secret Black Ops mission, was to take out a quote feral bull from a neighboring farm. 'Cause
He had syphilis.
Kevin will explain. They basically get in.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Syphilis.
so the ranch we're on, they have sheep and they have beef eaters, and they're certified. And
Beef masters, yeah.
is that what it is?
Beef
yeah,
masters.
beef eaters. That's a different thing.
Beef eaters.
Jesus. I don't know. You're throwing me off. Right? So yeah, beef masters.
A beef master, yeah.
I don't know. They have something that requires certification.
It's a
so,
beef master.
So the neighbor is a South African redneck, basically, he buys cattle and he just lets them free roam for like 10 years and goes and rounds them up and sells them. And so one of those jumped the fence. So like happens every year when some cows they go in heat, he has a bull jump the fence. And
Yeah, they
breeds
come
them.
in,
So they have
spread
to call the
disease
vet.
and
With
everything else.
Yeah.
syphilis.
Yeah, so yeah, they'll come in. You were explaining that they'll
All right,
actually
can somebody cut Ray off?
well,
Cheers.
it's because the diseases they can
Allegedly,
spread, they'll actually
Ray.
come in and abort fetuses from the cows, right? Because
Yeah.
it's that bad. Like it'll ruin your entire.
So
herd.
they had to do that.
So he comes up and he's like, "Hey, listen, like we need to take out this bull." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm in. Like I got nothing better to do. I'm here for another 2 days. Let's do this." So we go up this whole mountain. End up, this thing was like 1,200 pounds. It was an absolute unit.
When I
of a
saw it
cow.
hanging, thought it was a Cape buffalo. Yeah.
So yeah, no one has any idea we're doing this at the time, and
Not even Gabe.
with the
Gabe
same-
was up on the top of the mountain. He's like, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah, Gabe was like, "Are you taking me up here to kill me?" Like he's like, "Are you mad?" Like he was like so concerned because we're going on this
But
muddy
Danny and I
trail
know.
up to the
God, I miss Gabe.
Oh man,
Such a
yeah,
good
he's-
guy.
Miss
Love
you,
you,
Gabe.
buddy.
Miss you, Gabe.
Love you. You're my best friend.
So we get to the top, find the
gonna say.
cows, find the bull, and the 270 absolutely annihilated this thing like it has everything.
Yeah,
else.
we'll
Like,
post a video if
the
you're okay
video is
with
great.
it.
The little
In
tiny
the
clip
dome.
was absolutely
Right
awesome.
in the air, dead as a doornail.
Yeah,
Bam.
1,200 pounds. So we end up, we 4 of us loaded in the back of the Hilux, which was not easy at all.
Oh.
And it
For
was
the
terrible.
record, I'm not sure we're entirely supposed to talk about this.
Hold
kill.
on.
Maybe
One,
we'll edit
it was
out some parts.
absolutely
Gonna ask
legal.
and edit.
It was trespassing on private property, which is a crime.
Yeah, yeah.
in
Why don't we let
country
the
of South
Africans
Africa.
sort that
in
out?
So-
Texas.
Number 2.
When did you pass the South African bar?
Exactly.
All right, okay, we got it. You
So
shot a
either
bull.
way.
We got to move. We got to move on.
sorry.
Run out of time.
Let's- hey.
God damn it! I'm in charge.
Let's not cut the
It
video
was an
in of him
asshole.
killing
We
that
shot
cow.
it.
Sorry, Kev.
Oh, I have Rayisms. Oh, that's the next one.
Yes.
What American food like
he
Chinese?
asked-
It's like
he asked
you're
for
eating-
okay, Ray, stop talking.
Sorry.
So he asked. He asked our the
Sean.
Crusaders with Sean for he wanted American food, and we were like 30, 45 minutes from the nearest town. He's like, they have American food there. He's like, well, yeah. What do you mean American food? He's like, like Chinese. So,
I was
so
like,
American food like China. Okay, so that was done. Stop talking.
Sorry.
And then the next thing he said to me was, we were looking. He's like, we're looking for a landmark on the land.
which is
That's
a fact.
why. Well, that's why it's called a fucking landmark. All right, you don't need to say it over again. So that's one thing. Okay. So here's some other things. A bino harness you should use if you go on the chest. That's cool.
110%.
200 meter zero.
Yeah.
I would even say 308, whatever. Definitely 6.5.
Yeah.
And do some high angle shooting because you're gonna need to know that, and you can be like,
100%.
"Man,
And
shoot
be
over."
prepared for the fact that targets are going to be moving.
Jeez.
It happens.
You don't shoot moving targets, Raymond.
Yeah.
They do
really
run.
far moving.
Remember, guy.
Oh, remember
no,
Guy
no.
being
Oh,
hungover. Bless
man.
his
No.
heart. Oh, that
I'm
reminds me
fairly
of something.
certain you
That's not
guys
a
tried to
hangover,
kill
dude.
Guy.
Yes.
100%
No,
certain.
I was in
No,
bed at 10
no.
o'clock. You guys were up at 4.
The next day,
Nope.
he almost died. That night, he
I don't
was having a
remember.
great time.
I was not
Let me
there for
let me
that.
take charge
Toby
of this
Keith?
one for a
Almost
second.
died. We told him not to go that morning.
Let me take charge of this for
Toby
a second.
Keith?
We had a big night.
Huge.
Kevin and I told Guy not to come with us the next morning. We told him to chill out. Guy would not listen. We had a great time the night before. Guy came up on the mountain with me, Kevin, and Mike.
because he
Rhodesian
coerced
soldier.
him.
And
1980.
because he is a soldier, a straight up
He's a stud.
Rhodesian stud.
Stud.
And so he came up there to the top of the mountain with us, and I shot across a canyon to a very, very old water buck.
Did you hit it?
I
and
sent
it
him,
fucked off right down the mountain. Dude.
I sent him end over end down a cliff. And I mean, a truly old warrior. And we were
Thank
just
God
like,
he
Stud.
stopped on that ledge.
dude,
that would have
thank
been the
God,
worst day
he was
ever.
going to go down another 1,000 feet if he didn't.
been a long day
we
for us.
watched him stop, and we knew Guy was in. He was in trouble.
He
We
stayed
knew
up with
that.
you young guys till like 4 in the morning. He's like 62.
I think it was only like 3:30.
If I
he
had
was
to
doing
say it in a-
karaoke,
He
Toby
knew more
Keith,
Toby Keith songs
Toby
than I did.
Keith.
and he told us the next day he drank like 14 different kinds of alcohol.
If
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
he-
going to say it
Probably.
in a
Yeah, yeah.
nice way, I would say that Guy's liver was in crisis.
Yes.
And we took him with us anyway.
He needed
and
some
so
hangover
we
cure.
took him up on top of the mountain, and when I shot that water buck, it rolled down. Well,
No, it cartwheeled like
it
100
yeah,
miles an
it
hour.
cartwheels down a cliff. So we go around to where I shot him. We start hiking down to it. Guy does not come down.
and Guy's filming
yeah,
at this point.
he does not come down. We go down there.
That was amazing. You knew he was about to die if he didn't go with. Because
Guy
this
went
was like
everywhere.
one of the
Guy,
last
this
days.
dude is hard.
That dude was
charging.
hard.
He was hard. So we go down, like, we get back up to the Land Cruiser, and Guy goes, I said, Guy, are you okay? Because he was very pale. I said, are you okay? And he said, I just need another Coke, and I'll come right just now. I'll come right just now.
Yeah.
Which means I'll be okay in just a minute.
I think it means.
And I
take
said,
him to the
I said,
emergency
Guy,
room.
I said, Guy, you do not look good, man. And he
Like
goes,
white.
well, I did have some blood in my vomit.
Honestly,
And
Coca-Cola
I said,
is not the answer.
Guy, did you throw up blood? And he's like, I did. And I was like, we're going to take you home at lunch, and you're not coming hunting with us this afternoon.
And then we proceeded to chase Red Leche around, or excuse me, Red Hartebeest around, and not take him directly home, which was hilarious to me personally. Every time we stopped the truck, you just knew he was just in the back.
And every time you asked him
fuck you
how he
guys.
was doing, his response was,
Coming right round.
I'm going to come right just now.
Well, speaking of that, that's where Guy is where we get the cheers, buggers.
Cheers, buggers.
So I did box art last night, and so what I think we should do is, this is Guy. This is probably the day before the incident there, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So awesome.
Does he look like a good time?
looks like a
He's
great
drinking Lion South African Lager, also known as number 17 because it says Lion. If you turn it upside down, it's like NO17. So this is from a picture or video Jason took of him. So I think we all, because I'm sure everyone that buys our products watches this podcast.
100%.
Well, I already signed it. You guys sign it. Somebody's going to get this one. I love that one because I love Guy.
Whoever gets this, you better
just me and
frame
you,
that
buddy.
thing.
Just
that
me.
guy's
Yeah,
a legend.
I would pay
And
like $500
don't be a
for this
pussy.
Yeah,
myself.
that
Love
guy's a
ya.
legend.
Yeah.
You are lucky.
Here you go. So you guys all sign this, and Jesus Christ.
Mike and I are just
Cut that man off.
Mike and I are just over here pounding bourbon.
I know. So you guys sign that, pass it
We're
around.
finishing a bottle by ourselves. That's
Well,
All right, wait. Oh, this was a radism, which were generally way better than the Rayisms of
Listen,
I
man,
want some American
landmarks
food like
on the
Chinese.
land.
Yeah. So when Rad said, this was the poacher story, he says,
pants.
I told him his fortune. I was like, the fuck's that mean? He says, he read my palm and woke up next week. So that's a pretty good saying. Like you're going to tell someone their fortune, like shut the fuck up, I'm going to
When-
tell you your fortune.
when you palm somebody,
You got to cup them, man.
You cup them,
gotta cup 'em
cupping.
right
That's
in
the
the
thing,
ear.
because you got a cup. You get them
Yeah.
right in the ear. It apparently, Jay, that takes out the equilibrium and people are fucked.
fuck those ears.
Mike and Jason, hey, remember when Rad honked that horn? Like he was always on us, like fucking be quiet, stop giggling.
No,
what are you, a
dude.
bunch of schoolgirls? Stop making noise. We're fucking hunting. And he's like, be quiet. Turns around, and honk the fucking horn.
Let me like show the camera what Rad does when he gets mad.
Oh,
right?
so great.
So he'll do this. Let me turn we're walking this way. We're walking this way, and I'm going to show you the face he makes when you step on a pebble. He gets that pissed if you make a sound, right? If you step on a twig, Rad is so mad. We are getting ready to get out, and Rad
What were we on? What animal were we on?
I think it was a fallow deer for you or something.
Oh, it's probably why it took
It was
to the
like
last
it
day
was a
because Rad
big
honked
deal.
the horn
and,
at it.
And we're getting ready to get out. Rad's like shuffling through the front driver's seat and bump hits the horn. And like the animal looks at us and is like, I'll go ahead and fuck off now. And like he's gone. He's gone. And we're like, dude, for like 10 days, you've been a real asshole about us making tiny bits of noise.
Any noise.
You just honked the horn.
That was
and
so
sent
great.
that animal to the stratosphere.
That was
rad.
that
That's
was so
that
great.
flexibility that you need when you're in Africa. You just need to know. You need to shut the fuck up.
Or on podcast.
Yep.
Jason, remember our
Remember
day?
the day of Slay.
There was one day where me and Kevin, and mainly Kevin, went out and just. And this is like every safari I've been on. There's always one day where everything comes together, and it's that one day that if PETA saw what we did, you wouldn't even be able to fly into the continent. Just absolutely perfection of hunting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What like no one else shot anything
Would-
that day,
would
and we
you
rolled
say-
in with like 8 or 9 animals.
Would you say that was an efficient day?
I would say it was more than efficient. Like Kevin and I, like there were days where we didn't shoot anything. Not many, but there were days where we didn't shoot anything. We just rode around talking, like
there
looking
weren't.
for stuff. And then there was one day where you and I just absolutely loaded the Land Cruiser down.
We couldn't put anything else in the
You
truck.
could not fit another animal on the back of the Land Cruiser. But and here's the thing: like everybody can say what the fuck they want to say about hunting in Africa, and you guys are shooting. Like it just the optics are always going to be bad. Like you guys hunted in Africa, you shot endangered shit because it's on that continent.
Right.
The reality is, it's like nothing goes to waste. Like everything, even the intestines, everything like gets used. So when you see this picture of this Land Cruiser like climbing up over this hill and it's riding on its axles because we absolutely just waylaid everything. I mean, like Springbuck, Bless Buck.
I think the comment that was
Wildebeest.
made when you pulled in the camp was, "Yeah, we can't post that picture."
we can never show this picture because Kevin and I just absolutely racked up one
Yeah,
day.
you
But
know,
it was like a very
someday,
opportunistic
Jay.
day.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the other thing,
Just step from the ark.
Nothing
Yeah.
but the bottom of the net. That's all you know.
Yeah.
the other thing is that like what we did in Africa preserves a lot of the other animals.
No,
You
it
know?
does. It does.
Like that provides for the care for the other animals.
God, this reminds me of Dumb and Dumber.
Those animals.
Just when I was like writing you off,
I
you come
think-
back and say
Listen,
something
man.
I'll
great.
be honest with you. I think Ray
We
needs to talk
fund-
more, not less. More.
We
True,
fund
more.
the animals being
Yeah.
kept there and surviving, and otherwise there'd be
Yeah,
cows
and the
there.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
the Pringle family has 100 employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's seventh
yeah, those
generation
animals feed
South
us.
Africans. Like
Yeah.
they've been there since the founding of Port Elizabeth. That's wild. Like
Yeah. Yeah, well,
crazy.
that's
200
why
years they've
every
been-
farmer in there
Who's
says
gonna
Pringle.
be-
All right. Oh, so here are some more, not Rayisms, but Radisms. Hyena sunrise. Ray, do you remember what that means?
Yeah, my wife really appreciates that one. So it's important that in the early morning that you take proper care of your woman. And
No,
sometimes that
it
means
ha-
facing her the opposite direction.
No, it has
No,
nothing to
that-
do
of
with
your
it.
faith,
Actually, it's like when you take a girl home when you've had too many drinks and you wake up.
Let
she
me
looks
tell
like
you
a
something.
hyena.
That was-
This
that-
just
that's our
became my
coyote
favorite
upbringing there.
podcast ever. Sometimes that means facing the opposite direction.
Listen, I'm
that is some
married,
health
so-
class 101, 69 shit right there.
Yep.
All right,
Coyote
crane
ugly.
grab. We
Jay.
covered that.
Did you- Jay, where were you on the commentary right there?
Ray's got
Jay's
it.
all about the crane.
Ray's
Jay,
got it.
you haven't said shit, and that was a lob.
No,
Like,
Ray's. I'm letting Ray.
Jay is
run
actually-
this one.
So
Ray
Jay-
should not be talking right now.
Jay-
Jay, that was the opportunity for you to come in hot right
Jay's
now.
actually stumped
Jay,
right now.
Jay. So one day, Rad said, "Ray's throat's rougher than a goat's knees."
How did he know that?
And those goats are tough.
Hey, Mike, you remember Rad's road rage? Jesus,
Honestly, the stories we heard, terrible.
we started videoing.
Well, we asked him a question after the road rage incident to get him going again, and then the cameras rolling. It
Those-
was always gold.
Those
Always.
poor old ladies, they'll never
Seriously.
look at drivers the same.
Love Rad. Miss you, Rad. Miss you,
Yeah.
Jay.
He's the greatest.
I know.
Rad's fantastic.
Should we try one more time?
All of
Yeah,
those
I think
are
we
good.
should try to call
Yes,
him one more
please.
time.
Yep.
I do think that Jay.
Wait. We got Rad.
Perfect.
Oh
It's
shit!
an erection.
Put him on speaker.
Wait,
Put him on the microphone.
dude. Why are you not on video so I can see your sweet face?
Because I've got, it's my last night with the clients here, and I've got shitty Wi-Fi, and I'm busy getting shit-faced around the fire because it's been 12 days of fucking slaying.
Well, tell him to fuck off.
This is a
Let's
proper
like-
podcast.
So we're here. Ray is very shit faced. Danny's being awesome,
Oh, no.
and we're here. Also with Mike and Jason.
Love you, man.
Love you, Rad. Miss you, buddy.
Big time.
Hey, can't wait to see you guys again soon. We've got to knock something down.
Oh God, we're gonna do it. What have you been shooting? What have you been shooting with these losers since we weren't there?
Well, these guys actually have shot like absolute machines.
Yeah.
We have not lost an animal. We have piled up a bunch of shit, and there have been shots from 40 yards right up to 770 yards. Mike Murphy knows who they are. And,
I do know who they are actually.
Really?
Yeah. So you having a good time?
guys can shoot, let me tell you.
Nice.
did Mike?
I'm fucking looking
Rad.
forward to getting you guys back out here soon.
Did Mike train them how to shoot?
Mike knows the guy that trained them how to shoot.
Shout out to
And
my
Mike's
predecessor.
spoken to them, so he knows who they are.
Yeah.
Nice. So how you been, man?
Oh, it's been good. All good this side. I'm glad to be busy, and I'm grateful. And yeah, I'm just freaking amped up. The season seems to be getting better and better, and I've seen a few emails from Andrew, and Jason's coming back out again, you coming back out again, so I'm freaking amped up and ready to get rolling.
Yeah, we just did a 3-hour podcast.
You're ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. We just wrapped up like a 3-hour podcast, and I think you were probably a good third of it. we told the story about the crane grip with your balls.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah, we totally did. Which we could edit it out if necessary.
No, fuck no. I don't give a shit about that. If you got to be who you are, and if people don't accept you for who you are, what you've done, and what's happened in your life, well, then fuck them.
That's what I say.
Crusader Safaris.
Crusader Safaris. That's the motto of Crusader Safaris.
Official tagline. Yeah, well, dude, we miss you.
Crane grip, drone flight, and shoot that fucking fellow.
Those were the three major stories.
Those are the three main points of the whole podcast.
Shoot that fucking fellow down.
Shoot that fucking fellow down.
Like he was there.
That was so great. Yeah, so yeah, we can't we can't wait to get back out there and see you, man.
Rad,
so, hope you
we
ready.
miss you. We'll see you over there soon.
Well, I hope everyone there is having an epic time and they're drinking free booze from all the guys that try to jump the queue and market on Instagram and everything else that you do that's illegal, which I'll watch on your podcast.
Oh, you fucker. How's Guy doing?
Oh, guy, he's doing well. You know, he's probably drinking a beer somewhere, having a good time.
Cheers, buggers.
Yeah, cheers, buggers. All right. Well, dude, we miss you. We'll see you soon.
Several times.
Oh,
Absolutely. We'll stay in touch. And you guys keep safe. Then you send me photographs of when you go and shoot your double, and I want to see the grouping.
okay. Yeah, I'm sitting here staring at it. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight, not like Ray.
And if you do get fucking right. And if you're gonna reload, you get Mike Murphy to help you, and you reload Whitley solids and Whitley softs.
Woodley
And
solid.
Mike will be your man to help you regulate.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you in I don't know, like 6 weeks.
Me and you both.
Damn straight. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be epic.
Tell him I'll see him too.
Yep. So it'll be me and Jason.
Yeah, and Jason, we're gonna whack out that 8-6.
Well, you guys can whack each other. I'm gonna be shooting.